Hello and welcome to the Wearing Hats Saying Things podcast. The podcast where if you ain't wearing a hat, you ain't all that. It's Ronan and Gaffney as well in the room. Say hello, Ronan.
Hello. My name is the one you said.
The one that Calthrop said. There's two of us. We're the normal two that you normally see. And who else have we got on the show today?
So today we got two guests rather than none. So I'll let you guys introduce yourself. Yeah.
Hello. My name is Ethan Hodgkinson, and I am a friend of the two hat-wearing fellas sitting by me.
And guest number two.
And I'm Imogen McKay. I've lived a long life so far. I'm 22. I don't know what to say. And I'm also a friend, not a foe, of those surrounded by me.
These are two guests on the show today. We're going to be doing a wearing hats and making laws. This is basically we're going to be asking our two guests certain laws that they want in place. One is going to be something they're exempt from or something that only applies to them. And what are the other two going to be, Ronan?
So there's also one that applies to the whole world, and then there's also one that applies only to England.
Yes,
So,
right.
Because we're English.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was horrible.
We live there. We weren't just picking a random country.
Because we're bloody English, we are.
Apply one that only applies to Peru.
That was a very good accent.
Thank you. Thank
That
you.
was very good English.
Just one of his many personalities.
Many talents.
Many personas.
Shining through the crack in his
Connor
floor.
as English boy.
But yeah, so we'll be getting onto the laws of whatever they may be. But before we swiftly go into that, because there is something that we always do on this show. Before we swiftly roll into that, it's something that not only can keep you warm in the winter, but can keep the sun away in the summer.
Ooh. This is so intense.
Yeah.
Have you guessed yet?
What is
Have
happening?
you guessed
I have no idea what's going on.
It's a hat!
It's
I thought we were going for it.
I was going to say a parasol.
Well, unfortunately,
Correct.
you're in the wrong place
But
for that.
also wrong.
Yeah.
You win the podcast.
Say wearing parasols, saying things.
So,
Unfortunately, you're in the wrong place.
you
But-
don't wear a
next week-
parasol. Parasol wears you. You know that if you own parasols.
What is a parasol?
well, we don't know that because they say in a show about parasols.
It's a fancy umbrella.
Oh, I thought it was an animal.
That's
a parakeet.
That's a great description of it, I'm not going to lie.
Well
Yeah.
done.
Just a fancy umbrella.
Yeah.
That's what it is, really. All
But
right.
we're going to go into the hats part.
Oh, yes.
And me and Ronan aren't going to be rating our hats this week, but
But
we are going to be
we're wearing
talking
hats
about.
that are worthy of rating.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll tell you
We
now.
are. I
now.
feel like you 100% are wearing a hat that is worthy of
It's a
rating.
classic
It's
hat.
kind of gutting that you've worn it on a show that you're not actually getting rated for.
It's
But-
too much for that. Rating
Yeah,
would,
I think it
Yeah.
would blow the.
I
I'll
feel
go
like
to your
as
head
we've
otherwise.
started talking about mine, I'm going to go ahead and just do mine first.
Go for it.
So I'm going to say now that just picture in your head one of the most classic hats of any style that you've ever seen. And if you have just thought of...
A parasol.
if you just thought of a top hat,
Sorry.
you're correct. It's a top hat. I'm going to take this off so you can see the inside.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there isn't a rabbit in
I
this
was
one.
thinking-
I've yet to find the rabbit in this top hat.
Really?
But I'm sure it's in there.
Yeah,
I heard
Yeah.
it.
Start
Heard it.
smelling it. It's like dead for weeks.
Yeah.
Like blood drips down your face. Like, sorry, that's so gross.
Went from to blood on my face
Sorry.
quite swiftly then. But
Sorry.
so I don't really know how else to describe it. The top hat is very classic.
That
Flat-
new documentary
flat
with
top.
Ronan.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with rabbits.
Yeah.
Fuck with top
Can I
hats.
touch it?
Don't fuck with the top hat.
Yeah.
Ronan Manjada.
That
It's
is
got
not-
it's so
that's
flat on
not
the
how I
top
thought it was
that
gonna
you can
feel.
just
Can you
like
get to it?
it's such a perfect job. You know what I mean? Beautiful. And
So we're saying it says multi-purpose.
it's my purpose.
I love that.
So you can eat your dinner off it as well as wear it at.
Exactly. You can do so many things with these hats. Right.
And a
You
chin
could probably
pot.
drink out of it. It's so
Probably
solid.
could, yeah.
True.
You could definitely fill that with liquid. Like,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
like a hat chug.
Hat chug.
A
yeah.
hat chug.
Hat chug.
Mate,
That's
That's a
happening.
win.
Well,
We
we've
gotta
got
do
one
that
of
later.
Heineken. Do you want to give it a go?
Just
Hat
fill
chug
that
will-
bad boy up.
I think that's an idea already on this.
I'm
we'll
sure
use
that
at
you
some
have
point.
this
Yeah.
cross ribbon at the front because it kind of crosses over. Like it's the same kind of ribbon you'd have on a trilby or fedora or something. And I'm sure
Yeah.
this cross to the front, so it's a bit fancy.
Ooh, it's
A
cute.
bit fancy.
It is very fancy.
Yeah,
Do
that's-
you
that's
wear it
alright.
out, or is this just for
It wears me out. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ronan is the top
One
hat.
trip
to
to
the
the
top hat.
downstairs.
Yeah.
Like Ronan is a hat to a top hat.
Top gaff, top hat. That's
Top
what it
gaff,
is.
top hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very perfect for tip on the hat.
Ooh.
Tip on the
Yeah.
hat to you.
Oh,
It's got a great
Yeah.
brim. Take it out.
Oof.
All right then. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much mine. It's
There
like
we go.
velvety black. You know, that's how
Yeah.
black that is. Jet black.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is.
The only black hat.
Well,
we've all got nicely different coloured hats.
We
as
have
well.
actually
Yeah.
today,
Fabulous.
and I'll go on to
Yeah.
mine quickly because
Yeah.
the 2 stars of the show, the hats today, will like go in a bit more detail. But mine is
Explain yours.
I can't wait till we go on Timmy's actually. But quickly mine, I'll quickly go over it. So it's a hat from Spain.
It's
I didn't get it, or it's actually from Mallorca. One of my friends bought it for me. My friend Alex got it for me a few years ago as a little souvenir. Back it says España in the French flag colours and like a trim around the middle of it. It's like a straw
French
kind
flag.
of. It's like a straw. It's not French. I mean,
It's not
Spanish.
it's not
It's
French.
Spanish.
It's not a French flag.
Yeah, you were like French flags.
Did I say French?
Yes.
Oh fucking
Yeah, I
hell.
know, that's what I
Oh.
said.
Pardon
Oh my bad.
French.
Well, do you know what?
I was like, is that a French flag?
It's a French flag coloured in red and yellow. So
Yeah.
yeah.
If the French flag had a bit of a tan.
Yeah. Do you know what? If the French flag went to Spain,
It's kind of the same thing.
There you go.
Oh, mate, there you go.
oh, yeah, if the French flag went to Spain, it would be that. So yeah, it's basically like a straw hat. I don't know if you call it like a
Fedora.
fedora, wouldn't it? Yeah, it'd be a fedora,
Yeah.
not trilby.
It's like
Actually,
a,
yeah.
straw.
So it's like a straw fedora.
Mhm.
Straw fedora. And yeah, I don't know. It's like a nice one, keeps the sun off your head, and has a kind of like
But it's a lovely double
creamy
mesh.
colour. Yeah,
isn't it?
it is. Yeah, it's like
Lovely
a cross-hatching sort of design.
I have to say, I've never seen such a beautiful
It's-
double mesh in a hat. It's just like right here, right now.
It's quite a nice hat. Do you know what? I was struggling to work out which way you put it on, but it is this way. I was putting it on right. I thought
Yeah.
I'd had it wrong the
Comes
whole
up at
time.
the back, surely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it comes up straight. Yeah, definitely.
For straw.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's
Ah.
nice.
So show.
For
But I
sure.
feel like it doesn't quite fit though.
No. Do you know
I feel
what?
like it's a bit too
No,
small.
do you know what it
It was
is?
made for Connor. a few
For
years
all those who
ago.
can't see, it fits.
To everyone.
The wide audience out there. For all those who can't see, it does fit, but the brim is very, very thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
If
it,
it's half your
it
head.
creates the illusion that Connor's head is extremely
The
small.
brim is thin on the straw
I know
fedora.
what you mean.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
sweet though.
Thin brim,
I think we
straw
should bring it
fedora.
down.
It is quite nice, yeah.
Do you know what? It's not bad, but that's not really what I want to talk about. It's actually someone else's hat in this room. I'm going to go to Immy first because that is whose hat we want to talk about first.
I don't know what to
For
say.
one-
You just
simple
got to explain
reason.
what that is.
I just don't know if I need to take it off because
From the ground
No,
up, let's just.
I don't know
Work
how
our
you're
way
gonna.
Yeah.
through this hat.
It's just
I've-
so much.
I think like so Ronan's mum was actually looking at this hat before. She could not make out what this hat was.
Even she
I
had
need
no
She was.
to
She had a lot
Yeah.
to say about
Oh,
this
no.
hat
I feel like we
because
should put a survey out and just be like,
Yeah.
how do you describe this hat?
how would you do? Like this is the most difficult hat we've had to describe so far on this podcast.
I feel like you could definitely mistake it for my own hair though. Don't you
Okay,
think?
so would you explain.
Oh, yeah, let's actually
explain to
talk
the lovely
about what
people.
it
Yeah,
is.
talk about what the hat is. Yeah, what?
For those who can't
Right.
see.
Yeah, what is the hat?
Yeah.
It's truth be told, it's not really a hat. And I described it earlier to Susan as a hat of the kitchen because it's actually a tea cozy.
Chicken of the cave.
Yeah, chicken of the cave.
It's like a vest for a dwarf.
No, this is what Dobby wears. Dobby wears a tea cozy. And this is what this is. I mean, not this style with chicken on it. But...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's like
Bit of
ragged and
context.
grim.
I'll just, I'll give you the basics of what it is, just to describe. It is a yellow tea cozy, very vibrant yellow,
definitely.
with a chicken on it, a knitted chicken.
Yeah.
Turkey.
No, it's a cockerel.
I'd say that's a turkey gobble gobble.
It's got the gobble gobble.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the gobble gobble.
It's got like the
Yeah.
little.
What say you, chicken turkey? That's definitely a turkey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That response is clearly a turn.
Yeah.
My throat got
I
really
think-
sore then. I
yeah.
couldn't do it. I was like,
Alright, come on, folks, tell me what this is.
but yeah, and it's got two holes in it, obviously, because a tea cozy is on a teapot. So for the spout.
So what
and
you're
for
saying
the...
is you haven't brought a hat with you here. It's actually something that's made
a
into
hat
a
of the kitchen. You weren't very specific.
Ooh.
Also, can I just say,
Do you know
I didn't
what?
realise I was going to be in this podcast from like 2 days ago, and I was already in London, so I didn't bring one.
We're gonna
So I
delete this
had-
out.
Yeah, you didn't have options of your own hat.
I didn't, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, no, okay, no. I actually
I think
like
that's a pretty good
I like that
replacement.
description. Of like
I put it on my head.
like a hat for the kitchen.
And it's
Yeah.
it
Hat
looks
for the
like
kitchen.
it actually
So
is a hat
warm.
for you because with your ponytails they go through each of the holes.
yeah, exactly. That's why I put it, my hair like
If
this.
we didn't,
Accessorise.
if we had right, a category for inventiveness or like being inventive on a hat, that's 10 out of 10. That wins every
10.
day. That's
Sadly,
quality,
we
yeah.
don't.
Sadly,
But
we don't.
But if we
sadly, it's
did-
the worst.
Sadly, we don't. But thankfully, we
but it's
also
multi-purpose, you know.
Oh,
Exactly,
yeah.
and it's warm. I'm so warm in this.
It's a teapot's hat. That's
It's
what
a
you want.
teapot's hat, and I just had to take
A
it.
teapot.
I had
hat.
to say it. Yeah, it just and it was £2.50, and I gave to charity. So who's a real winner here?
Oh.
Yeah.
Those kids at
charity.
Millen or whatever it's called, the place I got it.
Macmillan.
Stop while you're
Yeah,
ahead.
you know
Yeah,
what.
just
They're the real
but
winners.
yeah.
You're a winner.
You
Well,
are.
I gave
it's,
to
very,
charity.
it's vibrant. I'll give you that.
It's
Thank
yeah.
you, and it's
Yeah.
cozy.
So Ethan as well.
Teak.
So you're slightly less vibrant.
Probably the most unimaginative out of the foursome here. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, well, that's
Try
not bad.
particularly
hard.
thing. Some hats have a hidden
Put it
talent.
down.
You know, they're not just
Yeah.
out
Well,
there.
I would like to describe my reason for showing up in a what can only be described as a plain green beanie.
What's the story behind this beanie?
I'm
though?
gonna be
Like,
around the bush.
I'm
Like,
gonna be around the bush.
where
Very
did you
boring hat.
Where did you get this beanie?
It's my dad's. It was hanging on the peg
Oh.
by the door. I walked out for that'll do.
I see.
Um,
I see.
I don't own very many hats.
hang on. He doesn't care about this show, does he?
Hang on.
I don't.
Let's just pause this.
I
while
don't
we
think
show
you're
you
taking
out.
this
I don't think
seriously.
We'll come back. We'll
I think we
reconvene.
showed the door.
No, but okay. So
No.
I don't wear many hats. It doesn't really suit me. I have a somewhat shaved head, and I'm quite pale and anemic looking.
Ill.
Yes.
Like an ill child.
Yeah. A sickly child.
Was that who you gave the money to for the hat?
Someone's got a collar.
Was that who you gave the money to for charity? Was just to Ethan?
Yeah, basically. To his dad. Like, please give him some food shelter.
Please buy
While
a
you're
new
at it,
hat.
buy him a hat.
He doesn't have one. Please.
So yeah, that's why I don't know one. I do own two other beanies, but they're not as stylish as this one. So yeah, I was gonna get a hat with the word bitch on a while ago, but then I thought it was pink, and I couldn't really pull it off.
Yeah.
I wasn't
That's
sussing
fair
it.
enough.
Was it the kind of bitch that you read and you think, is he calling me a bitch? Or was it like a label?
No, it's more
Put
just
on your
like I'm a bitch. That's it. Like just
That's it. That's that.
Yeah.
I'm a bitch.
that's it. So yeah, that's the story behind it.
But to be
Short
fair,
but sweet.
of the four,
Just like-
I'd probably rather be seen in that hat than any of the others.
Yeah.
True.
Hey,
Well,
this is
well,
quite
Hey,
unless you
Hey,
that is quite
that's
cute.
rude.
well, unless,
I forgot pretty great.
to be fair, if you were seen at Ascot with that, you'd look alright, Ronan. To be fair, so
If
Yeah.
anyone went out in public in a top hat like this, I'd be like,
I feel like people
No,
think
you
I'm
don't.
crazy.
I'd be like, I don't know whether I want to talk to that person
yeah.
True.
and realise I want to just pretend like that facade is fine, but if I break that with them saying something weird straight away, then that's just I'll just pretend that they're great and then leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the beanie is a solid choice.
Yeah,
Solid
yeah,
choice.
definitely
Nathan?
rate, definitely rate the beanie.
You're
Definitely.
getting so much more love.
I
from
know,
me
yeah.
now.
No.
Sorry,
No, no,
guys,
no, we're-
watch this space.
As we said, as we do every week. Well, every podcast we do. It's not every week, but every podcast we do, we will rate at the end of the show.
Does someone win a hat?
Uh,
No win. I need it.
no, no, no.
You win the hat
Yeah.
that you brought.
Yeah.
Are you in that?
You
and
get to
clap-
keep
it.
Yeah, I clap all your hats. I need them. I need to add to my collection.
Dead shot.
Yeah.
You win a hat. No. Yeah. So yeah, we'll go back to that at the end of the podcast. But yeah, great hat, guys, and
Thanks.
we will address it later.
Thanks.
So for now, we're going to go on to why you guys have actually come on here.
Indeed.
Right. Yeah. So Ronan, take it away with those rules.
All right. So what's going to happen today on Making Laws is we've got 3 rounds to come, and the first round will be a law that you guys will choose that applies only to England, and then the second law in the second round will apply to the entire world, and then the last
Mr.
round, round 3,
Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide, and then the third round will be either a law that you are exempt from or a law that applies only to you, and you get to choose which. And each of you have come today
Ethan,
with a
both of you.
Both Ethans here.
Yeah. I to leave. Let's just go.
It's like, yeah, sorry, I thought you had been like, sorry.
Carry on.
Anyway. So you both come with those 3 rounds prepared.
Okay.
And it's best of 3. And me and Con get to choose which one we want to win the round. Alright?
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright then. So round 1 is a law that you guys pick that applies to only England. Alright, so does anyone want to go first, especially?
Honestly, as well, take this as like legit as you want, as silly as you want. Like, it doesn't have to be like completely. Like, we're not going to abide by other laws or rules.
Oh,
as
yeah,
to
we're
if
not
you're,
going to try. And
you know,
enforce
obviously
these
there's
laws.
loopholes into absolutely everything. Like, we're not going to focus on that too much. Just,
Thank you.
you know.
Don't judge
I ain't
me
gonna
too
lie,
much.
mine are quite legit.
Yeah, we kind of
Okay.
came up with them ish together. We kind of had a discussion. So
Sharing
Ethan's are a bit
ideas.
more
A similar
deep.
kind of headspace.
Yeah,
at the
Ethan's.
same
Well, we
time.
both kind of thought of them ish together. So Ethan's are kind of a bit more deep and better. Mine are more just trying to be funny, but I'm
Don't
not.
put yourself
So
down. We haven't even started yet.
just keep that in mind.
No, do you know what? I'll rate that because then it's a bit of a contrast.
Yeah.
So we've got serious, we've got funny.
It's-
and
We
then
don't want to
it's-
bum everyone out.
And
then-
sort of
and then
thing.
it's-
Everyone.
It's almost
That's
representative of our hats. Like, mine is like, you know, mine is serious, quite smart, sophisticated. Imi's just like a fucking
It's a tea
chicken
cozy.
tea cozy.
Tea
It makes absolutely no sense.
So we,
It's absolutely hideous.
Just trying to be like the funny one, and it's just
Yeah.
not playing out.
Just not.
I'm joking, I'm funny, very funny.
Thank you.
right, go on. So
I'm joking. Take the head
We're
off.
really getting a lot of hate in this episode.
All right. So
right,
I
okay.
think we should just start
Sorry,
with.
Yeah, let's start.
Thank
And Imogen Curtis is saying Imi go first, but actually I think
Did she? I think it was me.
You just
do you know,
pick.
do you know what, Imi? You take it away because
I want to hear these silly things.
I want to
Okay.
hear some
Alright.
silly things followed
We'll
by
start-
some
yeah.
actual serious rules.
Yeah,
and
okay,
laws.
that makes sense. Right, so the England law, so just for England, is everyone gets to be queen for one day. Because, have you seen the Princess Diaries?
I mean, I can't say.
Oh,
that.
what little,
I'm already
little girls
excited
like
about
walk
this.
down
Yeah.
walk down the
Because there's
and I
all
can't
like
say
these
it, well.
orphan girls, and like Princess Mia is like walking down in this parade, and all these like little like girls in the orphanage are like, looking really sad, and she's like, everyone can be a princess for the day, and it's just everyone has a great time, everyone gets a crown. I just thought, I feel like no one's on board with this idea, but I thought it was a great one.
I'm just letting it play out.
No, I
I'm
feel
very
like
excited.
every single person is queen for like one day. So you know when you get jury duty and you get like a letter in the post that says like make sure you're free in 3 months' time for jury duty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Instead it'll be like make sure you're in time for like queen duty.
Duty.
Queen duty.
No, you open and it's like in Shrek 2 and it's like it's like and they come
I
out.
think wouldn't it be better if you don't know? So then one day someone just comes out with that and goes, "Don't whatever you had planned today, don't worry, because you're the queen today.
Yeah.
And you just get to do whatever you want."
Yeah. What if
Do
they're
you-
like giving birth though?
Do you
Just
think?
like, stop that?
Do you
Keep that
think-
in.
They do their research, right? They prepare.
Do you think this law could be in place of like the replacement of like Harry and Meghan?
Oh yeah.
And then you could
Ooh,
have like
topical.
because 2 royals have gone,
Ooh.
you then could have like
Have
2
one
royals
every
come in
day,
for a
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
It's like, but they could be like because you know, like you could say it's like the stand-in for the Queen in case you know maybe the Queen wants a day off. She's getting older.
You
she
know
might
what? She's
want a
done
bit
a
of-
lot of
But
yeah.
I think
She just goes around for
Yeah.
the serious days, and then you have like someone like every day or something like, or not every day, maybe like I don't know, every week. It's your I don't know why I'm taking your law.
No,
there,
please
but,
do. It's
But like
that's all I have
you
written
could,
down.
don't know. You could then, yeah, you could have someone like once a week, and the Queen could just like sit there with feet up on the sofa, you know, catch up on all
Have
the
a cup of tea,
EastEnders she's
love.
missed,
Have a
or
biscuit.
Does that mean they would be able to just go to Buckingham Palace and do
Yeah,
whatever?
they get their
Yeah.
own room.
Or she
They
could-
get their own set of tiaras. Or
she could be sitting on the,
Crowns?
Is it
she could
the
be sitting on the
Queen's room?
sofa, like be like, sure, I don't fuck with cats on, and she'd be like, Philip,
yeah, she's gonna have a great time.
Philip,
And you know what? I feel like
Is
she
that
needs.
your impression of
come
the
and look
Queen?
at this.
Hate it. It just sounds like the boy you said earlier when you were trying to be English. It's just like your English accent is like the Queen's English. It's the Queen.
I think
Queen
it would
Mother.
more. I think like in a realistic world, it would be like someone would knock on your door, and then you know, in, like Times Square, they have like a huge like live screen. Like
Yeah.
it would be like someone being like in their doorway,
Yeah, like
and
kiss
then
cam.
being like, and then it'll come up with a name, like say your name's like
Cynthia.
yeah, like Cynthia. It's like
Cynthia
Cynthia.
Andrews.
Yeah, it's such like a good name, like Cynthia Andrews. Cynthia Andrews, Queen of the Day, and then like if people see you out and about,
Yeah.
you can go on like a
They
big
just have to.
yeah, like you know, like the
Yeah.
Queen's coronation.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
I
yeah,
assume
Piccadilly Circus
anyone
is
who was
London,
Queen for a
but-
day, surely they would take that opportunity just to wear the crown for that
Yeah.
entire
I don't think
day.
I'd do
You would
anything
not
proper.
take
But
that.
do you think there's
Yeah.
one crown for like every Queen of the Day? or,
Or like a new crown.
or a new crown every
Uniquely
fucking
like-
day.
Well, that's why I'm saying you have to get the
I mean-
letter in advance. So you can put your orders and say, "This is how I like things around my castle."
I'll tell you what I'd do if someone was under...
That's the crown I want. I want to crush me.
I'll tell you what I'd do with
So
that.
many jewels on it.
With that law, I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd bring them on this podcast, get them on wearing hats, saying things,
Yeah.
and they wear the crown.
With a crown,
Crown
yeah.
jewels,
Actually,
be like,
I'm not
"What
going
hat
to
you
break
wearing
your
today?"
bubble here. Alright, crown's not a hat.
I don't care.
I'm just going to say that out loud.
Yeah,
because
Immy's
we should know
tea
these things.
cozy isn't a hat, but we still allowed that. So.
Yeah, but
Do you know what?
It's a
If
crown of the
Do you
kitchen.
know what? If it goes on the head, we're
the Queen came in here and was like, I'm wearing a hat. I'm like, no, you're not. Sorry, Your Majesty, but you're
Yeah.
lying to me.
You're lying.
Sorry,
I
love,
don't-
get a real hat.
Sorry, darling.
Don't lie to my face.
See, Philip, I told you it wasn't a hat.
Philip, why are you here? Why would you bring Philip? I don't want him on here.
He's
Um,
just outside, like, waiting.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
"It's windy out here."
He's got enough bed to do, I guess. But right, so
There's
right-
actually, can I just say,
Go on.
there's actually a show that aired in the 50s called Queen for the Day,
Really?
and it was like these women who actually like,
Yeah, they actually
like
became Queen for
yeah,
the Day.
like for a day they live like princesses.
Well, no, they used to
Right.
do that in. This is actually a thing. So, do you know,
Not
like,
that in my
have you heard of like Queen of the Bee?
Yeah.
No.
Which is not like anything weird. It's sounds a bit
So
crazy.
Sounds a bit
Amy's, so
risque.
Amy's law is based off 1950s television.
Well, I'm
is
not
what
gonna
you're
lie. I wrote this on the train,
I
so
think
I
that's-
didn't
yeah.
think about it then. But thinking about it now, Queen of the Bean is when. Well, you know the story of
saying.
the princess and the pea. Is that what it's called? Where there's like a pea under all the mattresses, and the princess sleeps on the mattress, and then there's a pea under it, so it's like, oh, you're a real princess. It's kind of similar to that, where there's like a huge like cake or something that was baked ages ago, sort of like Mary Queen of Scots time,
Yeah.
and they put like a bean in it. Like randomly, the bakers would put a bean in it, and then loads of the people of the castle would get a slice of cake. And if there was a bean in it, you were queen for a day.
That's mad.
Yeah, and it worked out pretty well back then. So why not now? Answer me. Why not now?
Where's my cake?
Go
Where's
on.
my crown?
Okay, so Queen for the Day.
Yes.
I quite like that concept. It's quite a fun one. Like I don't think it's actually. I think it's quite fun. I think it's quite fun.
Yeah, you could be.
But Ethan, yeah, I could be queen. Yeah,
Okay.
I could
Does
be
that mean that
queen.
do we get to be king, or
No,
do we just
queen.
still get to be
No,
queen?
You know, it's not
But
like
do
you have to wear
guys get
dresses
to
or
be
anything.
queen?
Yeah, we get to do the things a queen would do.
You're just like, yeah, just
Yeah.
do what you want.
Fair enough. Nice.
You do you.
You're the queen.
I like it.
Uh-huh.
Ethan.
So mine's a bit more serious.
Okay.
And
Shade.
yes, sorry.
Don't know what could be more serious than that.
Yeah, mine
Queen
actually
for
has
the
like
Day, but-
worth in like the real world. So yeah, mine
Ethan
was
1-0.
Round one, straight away.
Yeah,
Sorry.
two, one for the hat, one for the round. So mine was that like in school or in English schools at least, you should be taught more life skills, and that curriculum should be more geared towards like preparing you for real life. Because I feel like you go through your entire school career, and I don't know. I mean, I suppose you're taught about like sex education and RE in a very like basic sense.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you know write a passage from the Bible to apply to this situation. Everyone has like 3 quotes, but really, like, you're not taught about like like how to like fall in love and how to stay in love and like how to work at a failing marriage
Taxes.
or
Taxes,
taxes,
Yeah, taxes
rent.
is a huge
Yeah,
one.
that's
a huge-
I was
I've
like-
seen
I was
loads
literally
of
like, I don't know how to pay
politics.
taxes.
I mean, you get to
yeah.
vote, and you don't know anything about.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything
Literally.
about politics, so I just.
And like personally, like
Yeah.
as like especially, I mean, this is kind of like I don't know. I suppose it is relevant. But like, as like a gay man, I mean, you're taught about sex education, like you know, in a sense, in a sort of the guise of like reproduction. It's sort of mainly about that, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose you kind of you're taught about
More
safe
about
sex.
the sort of
yeah,
biological
I did not learn about anything to do with safe sex or how to have safe sex. I mean, this was, what, like 10 years ago, maybe longer. So I suppose I don't know if things are different
I
now.
think maybe they should do an updated version of that when you're older. So you go into
Yeah.
because when you have sex education, isn't that like when you're in like between year 6 and then
I
it
think-
comes
well,
on
Yeah,
now
again
no,
in
you
year
know, but
7?
you do. Like you
So-
have in year 5, you
But
get
you should
taught
have it
about
when you're
reproduction.
at
Well, I
the
think-
end of your, when
Yeah.
everyone's
I mean,
old
in
enough
I
the
think
end,
to actually take
nowadays,
it.
I saw an
Yeah.
article at some point. I think nowadays they teach it from a younger age when there's all this debate.
Well, I'm not talking about
whether
doing
or
it at a
not,
younger age. I'm talking about an
But
older age.
An older age, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah.
Even
yeah,
though
I think
people are probably less likely to take it seriously, but then you're more likely to retain it and you're more likely to be at the age where you're actually doing stuff.
Well, I think you understand it more at that age as well, and you kind of understand yourself maybe a little bit better too.
And things like STI checks, when like that's very much like they kind of tell you to do it.
And a lot of people don't
first,
take the initiative, and even so I did psychology in A level, and I know when you take psychology, they say it's not like learning about serial killers and learning about all these crazy sort of minds. It is kind of about memory and the kind of building blocks. Yeah, but even in a subject like that, we didn't even touch upon mental illness or anything, which is such. And you can be like, so this is our short-term memory. This is how they discovered pigeons can press a button and get like a pellet. Like, it's like, why does that? Why does that? Yeah, it's like, why do I? I mean, like, it's interesting, but if you have like a very finite amount of time to teach me something important, why teach me this? It's like, why don't you actually? I mean, like depression, anxiety, and like schizophrenia, things that like really are kind of taboo. It's like, why not actually like teach that and actually try and at least like educate people into the headspace of like, what is that like? But like, you don't get taught like anything that is. I mean, really think back through your school, run and think like, what was I actually taught that was like so thought-provoking and so applicable to real life. It's like when you actually think about the things that really stand out, like how to calculate a right angle triangle when you could literally just use a calculator. Like it's so really there actually is like.
So I get why you're saying all that stuff, and I am one of those people who hated doing a lot of things or more like problem solving and stuff like that. But really, what they're trying to teach you to do is look at a situation and solve it rather than. Constantly, like, you're never going to use Pythagoras in an everyday situation, but you'll use your technique to, like, try and go for that situation. That's their argument. But what I do agree with is, we should perhaps, I think one of the biggest things that I am quite frustrated at is how bad English people are at just languages. But I think, I'm not, like, linguistic languages, that's a huge thing. But sign language, I think, would be very useful for everyone to learn. Can you imagine if everyone in like university, not just in England, did learn sign language more fluently? It would break down a lot more barriers because that's one language that could sweep through. I think there's 3 major types of it, but even learning one of those could just be hugely beneficial.
I mean, like, say hypothetically, like, even if there was a situation where, I mean, me as an English person, there's someone else who is like French speaking, and we both don't speak each other's language very well, you at least have like the aspect of sound to like try and like understand. But I think for someone who like cannot hear, that's even harder because like one of your senses is completely gone. And my friend Sam, her dad has been completely deaf from birth, and her and her brother Leo, like they talk like they obviously like know how to like they sound but they say like I don't understand why it's so difficult to just to get it through people's heads that it's an important thing to know.
I think
and it's probably one of the easier ones to learn. Like,
honestly,
it's
just as hard to do so many things of it in a lot of languages, but it's very easy to learn the alphabet and very simple signs that could get you through everyday life, and they're so easy. You would not believe like every single one of the people in this room could easily learn the alphabet in sign language within a day and remember it. It's so easy to learn. But if you did that through school and you had that literally just in form time, I think one of the biggest things is you could do all the stuff without even changing the curriculum. Form time, I think, it's the part of the day where no one really cares, but you could use that to do things like, all right, everyone stand up and just sign the alphabet. If you did that once a day,
that's so
then
true.
no one would even you would barely even be trying, but you could learn the alphabet in no time, and then it would retain it forever.
Well, when you're younger, you obviously retain things a lot quicker. The reason like people in other countries, like in pretty much like especially all like the Scandinavian countries, in Netherlands, in like Germany and stuff, the reason they learn the English language so well is because they learn it from such an early age, and they learn it like properly. They do it like not like when we were sort of in like primary school and infant school, where I don't know if it's, I definitely know it's probably the same for me and you, Ronan, where you'd have like one French lesson a week of where we had a teacher come in for us and like and
it helped going into
it helped going into secondary school and there's still phrases that I know from it, but it's like I'm thinking like if I had that and then like even like I went on a German exchange once, and in their English class, which was like the actual English language, obviously I know here English is like written stuff, but like in their English class, they weren't allowed to speak German. Like they could only speak English, even if they were speaking to one another.
Yeah.
It was all in
Yeah.
English. So I was sitting there like, oh, this
And
is
the
such an easy
contrast
subject.
between this and like an English class that's learning like French or Spanish.
Well,
or
yeah,
something.
you know, like, and we're all, you know, shouting out, oh, yeah, je suis fatigué, because we think it's funny, and it's just
Yeah.
like, I'm tired.
Sus
That's what it means.
yeah.
Yeah, je suis
I'm
fatigué.
tired of not learning the
You know.
language.
And we're making a sort of mockery of it more, and it's just, but then, yeah, like, I think a lot of people, like, I think there's a few people who do, like, realise how good languages are and how important they are, and sort of, actually, like, this is, like, having this is, like, amazing. I think a lot of people, like, certainly me, like, when you get older, are like, damn, I really wish I knew Spanish. Like, that'd be so cool. Like, I really wish I knew a language in depth. I don't know. Anyway, I'm kind of veering away from your
Sorry,
major
yeah.
point.
Like, language
But-
is just one small
but
thing you could think.
so your law
but-
basically would be to kind of keep, like, you know, make sure people were learning about
what are the main
important
things
life
that you
skills.
would add in? Like,
It's like proper
as
life
Mine-
skills.
Yeah, like yes. I mean, you know, I suppose there's practical skills to do with society, like taxes, like
taxes, I think,
rent
is a big
and
one.
buying a property and maintaining a job and things that are expected of you. But I truly feel, and I especially, I don't know if this is just like a mix of social media and like modern technology combined with the fact that like no one is ever taught or really equipped with any skills to deal with like really intense emotions or something really like horrible that happens in their life. But I don't think anyone's really like taught to like deal with like these like really like harsh circumstances or
They
things
are
that
hard to
that
deal
might
with,
they
but
might not be able to understand
just
about
more
their own
common.
biology.
Mm.
And I just feel like if there's more awareness or more things like more time just like really dedicated to explaining it or what to do in that situation, because like it's inevitable that everyone once they leave school and you're kind of out of the nest in a way, especially if you go to uni and then you leave uni. That's even more out the nest because there's not really any other other path you can go apart from just to like go into the world.
And that's actually a really pretty decent analogy as well, because you are kind of just left to fly on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there isn't. I mean, unless you have very supportive parents, which like, you know.
Well, not everyone does, you know, like
Yeah,
because some people get put into the situation where they're almost. I know, obviously, you get student loans and stuff, but where they're put into a situation where they're literally having to actually like look after themselves, fend for themselves a bit more. Like whether that be because of the financial situation that you might be in with your parents, or you may not even have parents that they're financially giving you finance and stuff. You know, it's just everyone's obviously in a different scenario.
Every single person has a different situation.
Like, and I guess a lot of people, especially when they're in like in that kind of situation where they might not have something to begin with, they may not know when going into a situation like actually how to deal with it. Like it happens a lot of the time. So I think it's a really good law actually. Like,
I'm going to draw this to a close.
yeah,
because
we
we've still got two more
we
rounds.
do need to go on. Yeah, I was about to say, but
I really like that. And I think that there's. But
This
to
was
be
how
honest,
deep that was. I was talking about, I want to be queen for a day. I want a pretty tiara. Like,
I generally that is a huge thing to revamp the system.
yeah.
So do you
Do you know what?
Do you know
No.
what you think, Connor?
No, do you know what? Fair play. I was thinking the
Do you
whole
want
time.
to
Like,
say
so
one
much.
of their names on the
Okay.
count of
Alright.
on one?
On one. Okay.
Okay, 3,
3,
2, Amy.
Amy.
Oh,
What?
I'm
Well, alright,
joking.
I'll reason this.
I'm
right?
joking. I'm
Alright,
joking.
that is-
I
that
was
is
actually
a
having a
great
joke.
one.
I was
No,
actually
no,
going to
I
say.
think you mean-
That is a great one, Ethan.
Selling me
But
out
it's
there.
so much that you can
No,
do
yeah,
to
it's
change it. I don't know where you'd end. I feel like if I
No.
was going to change that law, I don't like.
yeah,
It
mine
would
was
be more
sweet.
forward.
No, I'm
But-
going to say. No, I've spoken. I'll give a
All
reason
I'm
for it
thinking
as
is-
well.
All I'm thinking is, I just
You wanna be
really
queen,
want to be
that's
queen for a day.
You
That's
just
what
wanna
I
be
want.
queen,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Because I'm
selfish
And I've
bastard.
finished education, and you know.
Make laws for the people.
No, mine
Not
is
for
mine is
children.
Please
mine
the
is
hat.
actually mine is actually
Make the
like
hats happen.
my reason is like partly actually like how cool it'd be to be queen for a day, but like I think with Ethan's law, it would be more a matter of like there's so many people and there's such a big platform that you can like basically say that for anyway. I reckon like you could even without it being a law just get that into like the educational system, and I think
Yeah.
there will
I
be
just
like
thought
over
something
time
mad
there'll be
as well.
way
Learn it
more.
yourself, really.
You could do
doing that,
your
so-
law if you just prepared and then waited for your day as queen and then
Yeah.
just made it the law. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And then
It
you'd
is,
do
yeah,
both.
yeah.
You'd have like the
Do you know,
evening
yeah.
to chill.
There you go.
The day
So- I
you
think
can
we've got it
change
figured out.
anything, you know?
Yeah.
See?
I think
We-
together.
You heard it
this
here
is-
first, guys.
We can work together as two queens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two queens.
As two queens, woman to woman,
Yeah.
sit down.
Crown to crown.
Respect for each other.
Crown to crown.
Yeah. Beanie to a fuzzy.
Tea cozy.
Tea cozy.
Crown to
Beanie to
crown.
cozy.
To knitted chicken.
All right.
Crown to crown.
Yeah.
This law's going down.
Whoa.
You know what else is going down? Your next law, because we're going to move on to
Round two.
Round 2, which is a law
Oh, you need to
for
do a
the
jingle with
world.
that.
I'll
So,
just
we're
strum
gonna-
a guitar. We've got to just record it.
Yeah.
All right. So,
So yeah, this is.
should we
Ooh.
the same?
Oh,
we doing the same
who's
sort of-
doing this? Oh, go on, you.
Wait, do you want to go
Yeah.
first?
So are we doing the
Oh,
same people?
Oh no, well,
Or
yeah,
do
Deeper than mine. Mine's just.
Yeah, go
Oh,
on.
you-
We'll go for the same order again.
Oh,
I
okay.
think so.
Mine is quite.
So this one is, as you know, a world one, like one for the world. That's just for the UK.
Yeah.
This is for the world.
Okay.
So this is like you control. This is like you are the most. This is like a powerful law. Like that was just for like the UK.
Well,
Like,
I'm so
that's-
ready for
I
what's
don't
about
want
to
you to
happen.
read.
I don't know what popular. I don't know what like. I don't know how much of the UK like is taken up like in terms of the world. What percentage of the world it is in, but like, yeah, think of how big this is. This is the entire 100% of the world.
Yeah, all right, Connor. It's so bad.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
God, please go
go on,
ahead.
hit us with your badness. Your
Okay.
badness.
The global law is for
No, read it how you've written it. Written down.
Okay, so written down is. I just realised how it sounds. Having a kids' party running for government. So basically, I'll explain a little more.
Wait, what?
Having a kid. Okay, so right.
Wait, just say it one more time.
Having a kids' party running for government. You know, you've got like
Yeah.
conservatives.
So
You've
then
got all
you'd have
that.
one that's just
It would be
maybe,
like-
for kids.
Oh.
The little governors or something cute like that.
Little governors.
Oh, little governor.
Little governor.
Yeah. Sean Schuster.
Wee govies.
Yeah, like that.
So do you mean like actual kids?
So okay, yeah. So basically,
Like
right.
10-year-olds.
So this literally
in
goes
suits.
into what we just talked about in Ethan's with education, and we spoke.
Oh, I see. Sponging off my idea. I'm
Yeah,
like,
trying to make it sound a bit more professional. It's not just like I want kids running the government. No, so how we said that we wanted more politics in like the education system. So that people act, because I literally didn't know anything about politics, and then I had the first vote, and I was like, well, I like the colour green, so I'm gonna go for Green Party. So it's you
That's because
learn.
of reason as any.
To be fair, that's a pretty cracky reason. And so it's basically you when you're kids and stuff, like even in primary school, you learn a lot about politics and whatnot. And it literally it's literally having a party of kids who they're like not like elected because it's not like a mini election. But I'm just thinking of like flushed away with like little baby rats that are just like living their own life. I don't know. So yeah, basically they have their own party. And what was it? Once every 5 years, they are in power. They have to be in power because
for 1 year?
because if you think about it, this might be I don't know if this is deep or just like obvious. So all the politicians, okay, not all of them, most of the politicians that we have are all like 50 and above.
I thought you were
I'm
about to say, actually kids in house parties.
If you really think about it, they're all children, just playing their own little games.
I wouldn't say
Our
they're all
country.
like old, but they're not all like.
But a lot of them are like older, and think about it, the children's generation is the one that's probably going to be affected. Things like Brexit, kids that are going to actually be living in it.
Wait, when you say kids,
So I'm
How old are you
talking
talking?
literally like 12, like 9
I
to
thought
12.
that was
Because
just
think
you
about
saying
it,
that, but it's like
kids,
16
kids
to
need to be
20s,
briefed
like.
on
talking
everything.
newborns.
So like, so the government that's in power, they have to, the laws that they go through, they have to go through like kids and like propose it all to like a group of children because number one, obviously, they're probably the ones that are in the long term going to have to be affected by it. Obviously, little things like, I don't know, like litter duty. I don't know what politicians do. Pick up litter.
What, they all put on
Like
high
the
vis
last
vests.
thing,
Like
there's
Michael
this
Gove
thing.
and Boris Johnson. Like, come on, guys, pick up a litter.
Every quick tongs.
Is that actually how you think governments
No,
run?
sorry, I couldn't think of anything small that governments do. That doesn't matter. But obviously they're going to be living in the world. But also I feel like kids have a very clear understanding of right and wrong. And I feel like there's nothing more... To run a country, you've got to be selfless, completely selfless. And I feel like kids might see things in a different way to us. And they will innocently think... So if someone... For instance, if it's like an issue of war... So like, oh, shall we go bomb those people. Don't know how war works. If you go bomb those people, kids would be like, no. Oh, why don't you just talk about it?
You sure they won't go, yeah, bang, bang, boom,
Oh, well, that's
boom.
fine.
And then
Okay.
you'll be like, alright,
They're
we're
12
at war.
years old. They're not like
This
5.
kid just made noises and now we're at war.
I just feel like but it's not up to them. It's just like they get a fresh perspective as well, and like the kids part, because
They
they
just
have to be
have to be
taken
listened.
seriously.
But don't you think that... I get what you mean, and that's a very good point, that a lot of young people in politics actually come out with some of the most like on-point
Greta?
moments. You know, they'll say something, and it's very much like no one said that in so long. You know what I mean? Like during the whole... Because Brexit is quite fresh. The whole time I was watching all these things on TV, so many discussions, and then I watched the one that was like 16 to 35, and some of the people on that were like literally not even 20 yet, they were saying things that were so poignant. I was like, where have these people been?
Yeah.
Why haven't they been included yet? But I'm also going to say that if they were like 12 to 15 at max, surely they would just be easily warped by the adults.
Well,
around
that's
them.
why it has to be fair. Like, as in, so every situation, because obviously it's going to be like government, like I guess I don't understand that, like government regulated, but it's going to be a thing where
Like an impartial supervisor.
completely, yeah.
It's just very hard to get one of those, you know. Someone who
Well-
I'm like, I wish there was, because
True.
Yeah.
I wish that you could have that. That would be the most
yeah.
amazing
You
thing.
can get
to
one of
have
those
in
people who like
politics.
walks up and down the aisles in exams in like GCSE.
Invigilator.
Invigilator.
Yeah, get one of them.
Invigilator.
That
They're
really-
literally doing absolutely fuck all. I'll be absolutely terrifying.
They barely even like looking at you. But you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
They say about 3 words,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh my god.
I feel like that will really make them feel like they're kind of their age, rather than trying to run the world, run the country.
I just
Wait,
think
this is a world law. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking, like,
Is
It's not- it's not
is
just
this for
one group.
every single
So is this for
country.
every
yeah,
country?
it's not just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
one unanimous group of children
But
that are
5 kids
sectioned
rule
off.
the
So is it
world.
just every-
The whole world, like
Yeah.
So every country is going to have like a group of kids,
It's like a jury system.
like jury system running
Jury
certain
duty.
laws,
Jury.
certain rules. At some point, like, yeah, how long did you say? It was maybe.
Well, 'cause
like
usually-
a term or something, or
Yeah, I mean, well, they have to be like consulted, and different like groups have to be consulted,
like-
like a target audience.
they
You know,
take
if
off
I want
like
to put out a
the.
music video, got
So-
to speak to my target audience.
So-
Say, is this poppy enough?
So they, the target audience, so the like politicians have to go to
I
these
don't know,
kids
Ronan. I'm
and
not gonna
just
lie.
say, "It's your law. I'm quizzing you
I
on it."
don't know.
Alright.
Stop it.
So definitely going to get rid of the sugar tax then when they're in there, because it'd be like free sweets for everyone.
There it is again, the same accent
Yeah.
as the Queen. And
How
the
is that the same as the Queen?
I don't know if the Queen says like a 10-year-old sweet
Philip.
lover, but I mean, yeah, maybe she, I don't know, she might have a like.
Philip.
Philip, get my sucky mints. I don't know, like.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
What's
That's so we'll leave
What's
that to
the
the we'll leave that to the imagination.
Yeah.
But- Okay, so I do you know what? I think if it would be interesting. It's an interesting law.
I
It
just
would be
think
interesting. to
we
see.
don't give kids enough credit. It's their world, and you know what? I'm gonna say it again. It's their future, because I'm not gonna lie. In that
living
time that Brexit
in
hasn't
your mess.
happened, since people voted for Brexit,
Mm.
so many people have died. So many people that I bet voted leave have all have passed
That's
away.
fair.
So like, how is that fair that they
Also,
get to
there's
just like
thousands of
mic
people
drop
who
and be
probably
like bye
died that-
and then die and then
Three
that's still
years
bit.
worth of people have then gone from not being able to vote
to be
being
able to vote, and I reckon yeah.
I'd probably be much more on board if you didn't say 12 earlier. If you were like 17 or like
You
you
know,
know
like
like
15,
8,
16.
19, you know, I'd be like, yeah, that's fair
I
enough. You call them
think
kids,
that-
but
Well, the one
That's
I
the
will
last-
change my law.
Well, no,
let's do it like that.
hang on.
Accommodate
You've
you.
made your
Hang on,
bed.
no, it's fine. But the last question I'm actually going to ask is and then we'll move on to Ethan. Was for getting in for these like kids of 12 years old getting into power. How's it been decided they get into power? Because all I can imagine, right, is like you have like a load of kind of parents with these like 12-year-olds. Kind of like, you know, when there's like a little child actor and then their parents are really pushy. I can imagine them being really pushy, but like, my son should be president, like,
Yeah,
'cause,
it's
you
so.
know, and
I
doing
kind
all
of.
this.
Yeah, I
He's
kind of
got
mentioned this
100% on his
earlier.
spelling
Yeah,
bee.
like, yeah.
No, I kind of mentioned this earlier. So it's taught in schools, and obviously, like they
She's
know
Miss
a lot about.
Utah, you know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you have to know a lot about politics, but also it's. I kind of mentioned earlier about like a jury duty kind of like atmosphere of it.
So
So
it's
you get like
more-
it's like kind of
And
random.
then what if the kid doesn't want to do it?
Well, it's jury duty. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's
mate.
like Hunger
It's a
Games, except
reason.
you don't die. It's like
Yeah, you get to be a queen for a
you have
day,
to make
so-
serious decisions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's how it goes. I'm not gonna lie.
That's just how it rolls. Hang on.
Alright, so
Hang on.
now we're surely on to Ethan's. Do you want any last comments on that? Actually?
Any last comments?
Before?
I'm going to say I think it's very interesting law.
I just think.
Yeah, it was very unsurprising.
Yeah.
I'll
I
say.
just want to see a 12-year-old little bow tie. That's what I want. A little like
I just want
outfit.
to see
Not like just a
on a
bow
lectern telling
I
four
wanna
grown
die.
adults what to
Creepy
do.
I thought you said I want to see a 12-year-old die. I thought, bloody hell, you awful,
Yeah.
awful,
Die
lady,
from the
awful,
pressure of being Prime
you
Minister.
terrible woman.
Crumble under the pressure. No.
No.
So, not the best idea, but there you go.
Nah, go on. Nah, it's interesting. We haven't heard Ethan's yet. You never know.
So it could be worse.
You never know. So,
He's like, I was thinking 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that'd be probably, I don't know. You'd probably save yourself with 12-year-olds compared to 5-year-olds. But we'll move on. So Ethan, what is your world law? What are you going to put upon the
mine
world?
is mine's a bit deep again. I'm a deep
Coming
kind
out.
of guy.
That whole
Kind of
thing.
queen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you in Imi's hole?
If
that she's
elected
dug?
to be the queen for the day, I'm
Going
deep.
deep.
So, so yeah, my law is that every country in the world should be should spend or dedicate more time and money invested into like space programs and like space exploration and discovering new planets and like life in the universe. Because we haven't been to the moon since 1972, and sorry, it's just like things I looked up on Google. And space
Does
ventures.
research.
I did, yeah. And space ventures should be more focused on finding planets that we are able to inhabit or terraform.
To move populations.
Yeah, because I think
Is it terraform?
terraform. Do you know? Anyone know what terraforming
I
is?
assume that means
I-
like
Well,
make,
it's a
make
Do not.
it's a
appropriate for
hypothetical
human life.
concept. So it's
Ooh.
it's been in a few science fiction films, but it's basically devices which, well, I say devices, I mean like huge ass factories, I suppose, that are built on potentially inhabited or habitable planets, and the atmosphere is kind of converted from whatever it is to oxygen.
Okay, so you create an inhabitable.
Yeah, you create an inhabitable planet.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
So that you can
Because
go,
obviously
yeah.
we've never found an inhabitable planet. So.
Yeah. Well, there's
Or
ones that are
habitable.
like potential, but they're so
Yeah.
far away that we'd have to like spend generations in space.
And even though the things that like either could support life or have supported life, not things that currently support life.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we could terraform planets and also obviously like build space stations. Yeah, so that's just kind of what it was.
Yeah.
And I also thought to maybe go about this because obviously people like spend so long trained to become astronauts and then I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just like my lack of knowledge on it, but like, yeah, I don't see many. Maybe there's a very like small amount of astronauts, but I don't see like many space missions like really televised or really like hitting like big news.
Okay.
And obviously, so I kind of my inspiration came from. So I watched this documentary on I don't know if you guys heard about that the Challenger.
Oh yeah. The
Yeah,
chance
yeah.
1989 or something. I think.
So yes,
Straight on it.
That's research as well.
I
think
Yeah.
it's
No, it might be maybe it's 1987 or
it's
something.
1986.
86. Damn it. Oh, I
You were getting closer.
That's
Yeah.
unlucky.
That was just a guess, wasn't it?
I didn't know till I hit the old Google.
Turn that 9 to a 6. It's a trick.
But so that was it's a really amazing documentary where there was I think 6 astronauts from NASA. They were going to send a space shuttle to orbit the Earth, basically to do research, and they selected one member from the US public. There was 11,000 applicants to go to space, and one person got selected, and they selected a primary school teacher, and it was called yeah, I don't know if you've heard about it, but like it was called like Teaching from Space. It was like this huge program, and I mean, like, sadly that shuttle blew up, so everyone died.
And
so that wasn't great.
They were like watching as well.
Yeah, it was like
Like,
televised.
Yeah, televised everything, and then it just
It was something to do with the sockets of the the fuel cannons was loose and it blew up.
Yeah, the
But,
smallest thing.
the smallest mechanical area.
Yeah. So, but I just had this idea of maybe like there being like a huge like global like search for people who like want to like properly venture into like the solar system. And like I just things like that really fascinate me, and I think it's so much more important than people like give credit for. And I think it fascinates everyone, but it's kind of it's so equally fascinating and equally like terrifying, just like a void. And like it's just like personally I find it really interesting. Some people it kind of like creeps them out and they don't like thinking about it. But
I do think it's really interesting, but I also am going to remain firmly on Earth for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
If you had the
I've never
option-
had the desire to go into space.
Or someone's like,
I'd
"Do you wanna
love
go
to
to
know
moon?"
what it looks like from space. You know, I bet it's fantastic. But
I don't know if
Really?
I'd
I
most
don't know,
definitely
it
go
would
to
just
space.
scare me.
I
There's
think
so
if
many things that
someone-
can go wrong, and you know, I'm
There is-
fine with flying planes.
What if
but-
someone said, "Do you want to go to the moon right now?"
Do you
You're
know what?
queen for a day. Do you want to go moon?
Do you know what?
Well, I put all the crown into the shuttle.
Yeah. Would you honestly?
No.
Philip.
I don't want to die. Being like, oh, how did he die? Oh, doing some stupid, pointless. He tried
Going
to
to the moon.
Trying to go to the moon. Oh,
was
why did he
queen
do that?
for
Oh, he just thought it'd be cool. Turned out
That'd be cool.
he
I was
died.
queen for a day.
That's
He
how I
wasn't
see
even queen
it.
for a whole day.
Yeah.
Only a few
Yeah.
short hours.
Tragic.
Actually, a few seconds if you're considering time in space.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I understand why people do want to go to space, because it's like, you know, the ground known, you know, the people who, it's not even like people who watch sort of sci-fi things and like, oh, space is cool. It's like the fact that it is like unbelievable, and the fact that people have been on the moon is just outstanding, really, from a human race perspective.
Pretty
But,
mind blowing in a way, yeah.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
think,
but I
like,
just haven't really
I
been
think-
attracted
but-
to it.
I think sort of more to do with like why I think it's so important. I think there's definitely going to be a point in our history, probably. I mean, like definitely not in our lifetimes.
Yeah,
But I think like
sometime in the future.
I'd say in the next 1,000 years.
Really?
I think
Talking like Futurama here.
we think 1,000. It's like a very long time. I mean,
Yeah,
if you think
next
what
millennium.
what was the Earth like 1,000 years ago? I think how much will change in that time.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely going to be a need for us to move planets, whether that's overpopulation or war or famine or like there's going to be. I mean, we are
Climate
eventually going to
change.
run out, and we are going to need somewhere else to go, unless like we all die, in which case, I mean, good luck
Yeah,
to
there's
the other
pretty
aliens
much
in the
nowhere
universe.
in
But
this,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
nowhere in this solar
Yeah.
system that we could really move to.
well,
Without-
Mars,
without an
they're
insane
looking to
amount-
Mars.
Yeah, without an
but
insane amount
that's
of work
possible
going
or
into
not.
it. You know, didn't Elon Musk say recently that he wanted to start sending people to Mars or something?
Yeah.
Was it Mars?
Yeah.
He has a serious space craving, it seems,
Yeah.
and I had no idea about it.
But
He's a
even
weird guy.
even things I think if like people really spend.
He's a
weird.
man.
Yeah.
I
I
met
mean-
him once.
The thing is, there's really, I mean, like, this is something. I mean, it's related, but I will relate it back to why I personally think it's important. But I was saying to Imi earlier that the soil on Mars is radioactive, but to a certain degree, where some people theorize it alludes to some sort of like event that like created it to be like so like intensely radioactive. But it could either be like a past civilization or a past war or event, or like, I mean, think how old the universe is. I mean, or the solar system, billions of years. There could have been a whole entire civilization on Mars that has
Yeah,
either a
that's
meteor
what we
or war.
thought, yeah.
And I thought,
Yeah.
well, I mean, to me, I think, I mean, some people don't see anything to gain from knowledge, but I just think if we really like spent the time or like the energy or the philosophical thought on really figuring it out, I just think it's important to know.
Yeah.
And I find things like that really like, I don't know. I just don't. Yeah, I find it really comforting.
I definitely
Yeah,
think it is
something.
one thing that we should be thinking about as a race rather
Yeah.
than, you know. So I think NASA's probably one of the biggest, should we say,
Space giants.
Giants, yeah. It's not the only one.
No, of course, yeah.
But if
Like,
you
there's-
take
got
that
the
as an
Russians as well,
example,
but, like,
they can't do
Yeah.
it single-handedly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think it is something that we should be doing as a planet. So I think that's
True.
a good point there. I also think that it's worth taking into consideration the fact that not every country would be it's not like feasible to be asking that of everyone.
Yeah.
But to kind of have that as a mindset, and then then that would be good.
Yeah,
So I quite like that.
I think it's
quite like that.
aspirational as well, like with things with space, like,
And it is inevitable.
and it's like, and it would be like world news, mind blowing, like finding out things from people going in, like not just obviously like going into space, but like as you've said, like Elon Musk, like sending people to Mars, like. Not that would be a successful trip necessarily, but like you just never know what's out there. I guess it's it's the unknowing. It's kind of cool in that kind of scenario.
I think mine are more. I think my laws that I've made up are more like personal philosophies that like I like.
That's fine though.
I think I'd hope.
That's what you can do.
Yeah. that's
You can only be you.
that's
and
what
we
yeah,
accept you.
No, that's what we're after.
We
That's what we're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just find it so interesting how everyone can operate on different levels of.
Alright.
Sorry.
Some of it is so simplistic. I just want kids.
No.
And queens for
and
days.
Other people really think about like the world. What
Yeah,
would
it's like
benefit us.
you can be the queen of the world, but can you really be the queen of the universe?
Oh. You
No,
can't.
but what I was going to say is like everyone has the ability.
Ethan too. I mean,
Yeah. I just want to go home.
when's this gonna end?
I just want to be queen.
Now, to be fair, we will move on actually onto our last one, which I'm actually quite looking forward to. But I did really enjoy both of those because they were actually really not what I was expecting.
Yeah,
like especially one of them. But like, I'm not gonna say which one.
Especially one of those.
Oh my god, Ethan's shade. Is that you?
Yeah, but right, yeah,
I think
okay.
I've chosen.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I
what it's gonna be.
I think I've chosen, to be fair. Like overall, alright, ready?
Should we go and go this time?
Yeah.
I feel like we're.
So wait,
So it'd be
just
like,
to clarify,
so it'd be
it's
like
gonna
one.
three-
Yeah, it'd be like 3, 2, 1, and then on the go, what would be go? Yeah, okay.
Precisely.
Yeah, right. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Ethan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay.
thought
That was quite fair.
I was
And,
gonna say Ethan as well.
my reason for it is just more that I think it would be like pretty. It would just be like mad. Like I think to actually have there be more investment and stuff, and more like housey into space and astronomy. That's the word I'm looking for. Astronomy and things
Alien
like that.
life. We won't
Yeah, alien life. I mean, that's like a
That's a whole other podcast.
Something I
like
forgot to mention.
their Area 52 raid and all that kind of
Yeah.
shit. But like, but yeah, no, I can see like it. For me, it just is more interesting. I think that's why I've chosen it. Not to say that I didn't like Emmy's one. I think Emmy's was so interesting because I'd want to see what would happen with that. So I nearly chose Emmy's for that reason. But I went with Ethan's for more
Last time.
for a little bit
I'm
more.
not being here about nearly chose.
Yeah.
She's had a choice for one. She's had 7 minutes in heaven. Let me have some.
Give me a taste.
So yeah.
Of course.
Let me taste the heaven.
So yeah, bit of realism I think in it, and
I
Ronan
think,
as well. I think.
Yeah, I think that whenever I see stuff about going to space, I think money could be better spent on Earth. But the way listen to you explain it like that is quite captivating, and I do agree that there is going to come a point in our futures as a race where captivating. Captivating.
I don't know what I thought you said.
Should I explain?
No, I don't know what I thought you said. Sorry.
You like
said,
Calthrop?
I thought you said like.
Cats are mating?
I thought you said
What?
made up. No, I just thought
What
you made up
now?
a word like a. I think it's
Yeah,
like
no.
a catamin or something. I was like, what? What the hell's that?
It's a catalyst.
Catalyst,
My
catamin,
vote.
catalyst,
Ah.
But, yeah, no, but I do think that it is true that we will need to
Nice.
vacate this planet eventually. Even if it's in 1 million years, there is going to be some kind of event at some point, and we do need to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
We're going to survive.
He got survive.
Even if that's just circling around the Earth and coming back. But if that's the case, then that's
Having
not.
a 5 minutes
We're
break.
not. If it's making us all leave, it's not going to be something that's going to blow over. So we're just going to have to get somewhere else.
Yeah, for
But I think more of the reason
Time
is I
out.
just think if everyone in the world was told that they have to listen to children, it would be the biggest riot you'd ever like. There would be some serious civil wars going on.
Nah,
So-
you're right.
Alright.
We'd love to see
Think
it,
it'd be
but
fine.
unfortunately
Love
we
to
won't
see
see it.
Alright, so
Get that
So-
far at the door off. It's like around being like.
So
should we?
go on to round 3. So yeah, for round 3 here, we're gonna have you guys have got you've got a decision to make actually. So you can either choose a law which you are exempt from, or
a law that applies only to you.
yeah.
And in this situation, you is just we'll pick it as if it was us. I guess.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So all right, that's cool.
Of course, because we're the ones who matter in this
so,
situation.
So just to give you like an example, like you could be exempt from, I don't know, like murder. Like if you murdered someone, you could be exempt from that law. So like if you murdered someone, you wouldn't,
They deserved it.
you wouldn't
Fair
get.
enough.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be exempt from it.
Okay.
Or if it was a law that only applies for you, let's say you're allowed to carry like
one
you're allowed like Class A drugs are decriminalised for you or something like that. Like all forms of drugs are decriminalised, so you can carry as much as you want, or
You get a bit
you can,
methy.
or it's legal for you, or something like that. You know, like that's just two examples that I thought were probably clear as the light of day.
Okay,
you know?
yeah.
So we'll go with me again. Start with what are you firstly?
Can I just quickly say, I was like, I looked at it's a personal law.
Okay.
I just looked at mine and was like, this is so bad. And I was like, I need to quickly look at Ethan's. Looked at Ethan's. It's just so bad.
So much worse.
Like, it's like two words and it's just not fun.
No, but I don't think I'm doing that one.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh, it's
Ooh,
throwing me off the
so
scent
maybe,
out.
yeah,
Cards
maybe
close to the chest.
Yeah.
I have a wild card hidden somewhere.
It's a wrong my person.
My shorts.
it seems
A wicked Wango card.
it seems the finish line will be nose to nose. So
You're like a little Pinocchio.
God, all his impressions.
so
Right, so yeah, we're one
Okay,
apiece
sorry.
as well.
so you were choosing one that would
Back
be
to
exempt from,
business.
or one that's going to be personal to you.
So it's a personal
Okay,
law.
so personal one. To you.
So every single year, let's have a look. Every year I have to go on a desert island with no Wi-Fi or anything, and just get back to nature for 1 week.
Okay.
Every year. So if I had a job, if my job was being queen for a year or a day, then I would have to be like, sorry, got to go to this island, and then I get to pick when I want to go, and I still get paid, obviously. Yeah, once a year for a week or up to a week. I have to go to the jungle. And just live my life. And get back with and just get back with nature. No Wi-Fi, no distractions. Just really get back to.
Do you have to like live in the wild?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
question, like,
Get
do you
like,
live
It's
like
not
in
like
a villa?
nature is like your ex-boyfriend or so. Like I'm just going to get back with nature.
Yeah, sorry, Ronan.
Like
It's actually spelled Natura.
yeah, so
That's his name.
or
Nature.
Nat for sure.
Nah, for sure.
It's my pet name for him. You know?
Yeah.
Just me and Nat hanging out
It's just
on the beach.
Or desert
And
island.
then, yeah, Nat with the hat.
Ooh.
Yeah, we should get
It always comes
We should
back
get him
to
in.
that.
get him in.
So
Make
this
the
island,
phone call.
what's the island like?
So it's
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
You know in I can't even think of Jumanji when he's got that little like decked out area. So it's kind of like I'll get a hut sort of thing in the woods. I have shelter over my head. Don't want to get up if I'm in door. Might die. No Wi-Fi. Yeah, so basically it's like I'll live in this kind of like hut thing. It's like very minimalistic, but I get to go out and kind of like forage for myself and then like kill animals if I want to, sort of thing. If I want that meat bad. But I've got to just light some fires, put them out, cook some food, chill out. That's about it.
I feel
Just to
like,
get back, yeah.
I feel like up to a week is like long enough. I feel like anyone would go crazy if it was.
Yeah. I do
But
like my
then
own
knowing
company
that you're
though.
going to return.
Yeah.
Might
Yeah,
stop you
knowing
from-
that in like 6 days,
Yeah.
someone. Can
It's
come
like when
for
you
me.
go on holiday somewhere. You know when you're there and you think like, yeah, a week was enough for this, or like you go somewhere and you think like 2 weeks is a
Yeah.
bit too long for this holiday. Like I'm getting a bit, it's like one of them. Like
Yeah.
you find the right time, and then you think,
Yeah.
that was a good week.
Yeah.
Did you get any kit like?
Well,
fire
yeah. So
starting
I
stuff?
get kind of like basic, like
Basic
obviously I don't want to
things.
get like salmonella or something like that. So I'll get like basic things.
Who's
Um,
salmonella?
It's my girlfriend actually, Sam.
Sam.
She'll be there too.
No,
The
is
three
it-
of us just living life.
First name
Sam.
No,
Sam.
Second
No,
name
really.
Sal.
I have made worse. I have made worse.
Salmon. Me, Sal, and a tour are going to be on the beach together. No, not that at all. We're just. I'll have a coconut cup and a coconut bowl and a coconut fork and a coconut knife and
And I am a coconut.
So just everything's coconut.
I live in a huge coconut.
What is it in a coconut?
Imogen on her
In a something island.
Imogen on her Zen weekend.
Something coconutty.
Just me, little old me. Yeah, so just because I feel like, well, I'm from the country, and I feel like that can kind of sometimes be like living in a forest by yourself.
Can it?
The isolation is real, Ronan.
Really?
The isolation is real. Yeah, I feel like sometimes we need to revert a little bit. We're so advanced now as humans. I feel like it's kind of nice. I feel like it's nice when I watch like David Attenborough. And I'm like, they're just living in the rough. You know, killing for themselves.
Yeah,
Everything they're doing is for themselves. And I just love the fact of like no Wi-Fi, no trivial problems like, oh, like, am I gonna get like over 100 likes on like my new picture or
Wi-Fi's a big thing in this. Do you really just mean no internet?
I might just turn my Wi-Fi
it?
off. No, I feel like
Solve
you
all
know
these
what?
problems.
I might just delete my Facebook account. Yeah.
But how would you then see wearing hats saying things?
That-
Like, how would you
Post
subscribe?
anything?
Like all these wonderful
Yes,
people listening
why
right
would you
now.
subscribe?
See, that's the issue. That's why I just need a week out and come back.
So no one's
To
telling me
complete
to
my
subscribe.
subscription,
And
yeah.
no one's telling me
Don't
to
worry,
leave.
guys. Keep subscribing. Keep watching. Keep listening. There you go. So you just plugged a few. Yeah, you're welcome. Aren't you happy I'm on this
Hey,
show?
here's
Yeah,
your payments.
you're
There you go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, so that's basically it. Because like I was saying about like I was chatting shit about watching David Attenborough. I feel like nowadays we care so much about trivial things and just like the work we do. I honestly think my whole kind of family were like farmers and like work in agriculture and things like that. I feel like if I didn't go into, well, I'm not actually in the TV industry now. I'm currently unemployed. But if I wasn't in that, I would definitely go into farming or something that's like, I'm like using my hands to like do things, actually kind of making what seems like a bit of a difference maybe. So I feel like if I was on a desert island for a week by myself, I could really just sort of live how I feel like humans were originally intended.
I think it's an original idea. I like it.
I like
it's
that
just,
idea.
Well, it's just, I think it's it's just like nice and simple. It's just like a nice and it's
Kind
nice,
of a simple laugh.
Out one.
Simple laugh.
Yeah.
With my
Simple,
coconut.
honest.
Yeah.
My
I know.
coconut bowl and my coconut cup.
Yeah.
I think that's
My
definitely
coconut
the most
trains.
simplistic
My
one
jar
of
coconut.
My coconut beard. I
That's
can
the
go
most-
on.
My coconut friends. Wilson.
Just have like a coconut, put a face on it, and be like coconut Joe. That's actually
They're all
fun.
just various,
Yeah.
various different
This is
variations
coconut
of the
Nate.
name Wilson.
That you are.
No,
It's a psalm of the coconut.
Psalm.
Psalm. Someone else.
Oh, did I not mention my girlfriend was a coconut as well?
Yeah, we're all coconuts if you really think
Yeah.
about it.
too many
Deep
coconuts.
down.
No, I like
We're all
the,
just ways to be broken open.
Yeah.
I like the simplicity of the idea. Actually, it's just it's definitely the most simple law you've come up with out of the three.
I guess
but-
stop saying the word
Simple.
simple,
Yeah.
please.
Artist.
God, you're so simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
I just realised the one I was going to check.
but we're gonna compare it with our friend Ethan and see
Come on, not your friend.
see how it goes, because I actually like how just chill and
Yeah,
nice
that's
that
cool.
idea is. Yeah,
That's
it's
good.
Wouldn't
nice.
you love that?
People
It's
should
you-
get back to nature.
Because people, I was
For a
thinking
week.
like,
For a
I was
little
thinking
bit.
like,
For a
oh, God.
little bit.
So
Yeah,
the other
what?
two you've given, like laws, I've been like, where the hell's that come from? I actually thought that, but then this one, I'm just like, actually, like that's so simple, like it's kind of one of those ones you think like, oh, I could have thought that, but it's just easy.
But you
It's
did.
nice.
We did.
And I did.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly.
Stop
Do you know
taking
what? I'll
credit.
give you that.
Stop taking credit for
Yeah.
coconut.
Yeah.
Is that what you
Yeah,
meant?
that is-
Coconut. Well, you know. So, but Ethan,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Ethan, cracking onto you in the
Yeah.
greenhouse.
I just realised the one I was going to change mine for was for the next round.
Okay.
So it really is terrible.
Go on.
So my law.
Just read it out as it is.
So I put a subhead in as
As
just me, and then the law is always get bed.
Always get what?
Always get bed.
And the
Please
law
explain.
and the law is every time I like to stay over or I sleep over at someone's house, I always get their bed.
Oh
You get
my
their
goodness.
bed.
Yeah. And
Even
they
if they have a
floor
spare
or
bed.
go in the spare room. Yeah.
Is that
I
like a
always
thing
get
at
the
Ronan?
no-
Is that like a thing at Ronan tonight?
Yeah.
Because we might be
Yeah.
staying over, so you're like,
I think we are. Yep.
Yeah.
It's like 12, folks.
yeah, just to let you know.
So yeah.
So wait, so you I think. Do you know what? I think this idea is so genius
It's
because
a good idea.
like particularly like for like how many times have you like you've been like even if you visit a mate, uni or visit a mate wherever it is. And then you've got to sleep somewhere that you probably don't. We wouldn't sleep normally after you're in your own house. You basically like a floor,
Like on a floor,
or a shitty sofa, or
yeah,
know,
on a
something
shitty
like that.
blow up Lilo that
Yeah.
deflates every time you sleep on
Yeah,
it.
it's something like that.
Yeah.
Something that you just wouldn't normally sleep on that isn't that comfortable.
Where am I going to be sleeping tonight? Ethan's
Yeah.
house, his lounge downstairs on a mattress top.
But it's like, if you had the choice, would you rather sleep in the lounge downstairs or in my lovely bed in my bedroom?
My lovely.
You're a lovely bed.
No,
Probably
these
a
are-
bed, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
They're
actually.
coconut.
And it's, like,
law.
it's one of the, it's one. I think it's one
That
of the
would be
biggest
so
plagues in all of our lives.
It'd be so
I think
useful.
if I could just remove that. Then,
Like how useful would that be? Just
Biggest
having a
plagues.
bed. Like
Yeah.
you'd basically be guaranteed a bed wherever you go, unless you were
Unless they didn't.
I
have it.
know,
just
but
camping or something.
I expect.
Not sure.
I think I expect, and I think I deserve the best.
So for
Hang on,
example,
what's
okay,
the
let's
Even
okay,
I'm
let's
not quite.
let's
Yeah.
twist the scenario up
I'll be free
slightly.
of like one.
Let's twist this scenario up slightly because I feel like this is
Yeah.
like this idea is too just like I get a bed. I want to like fuck it a bit up. Fuck it up a bit. I said
Fuck it a bit
fuck it a bit up.
Oh, and I'm
Upwards,
Yeah.
sexless
I want
bed.
upwards
Fuck
fuck
it a bit upwards. Nah, I
want it so
want
bad.
to try and mess with this idea a little bit in the way that like I don't know. Say you are you're like as I said exactly like camping or you're at like a festival or something. Like how would you get around this? What would you do? What would be the
Have you seen
The
Cheap
best
by the Dozen
outcome.
too?
Yeah, it's a long time ago. I have, yeah.
Bringing it back.
Is this where they're by the lake or something?
Yeah.
And they're-
So basically,
And one
the
was
whole,
getting
their whole
pregnant.
family are camping, and then
Is it Hilary Duff's pregnant? Is
Yeah.
It? Yeah.
little,
No,
what's she
not
No,
called?
not her.
Yeah.
No,
What's she
no,
called?
not Hilary.
Lorraine.
Nora.
No, Lorraine. Lorraine comes out with her little bed on wheels and she shoves it in the tent, and I'll be like, but obviously, if this was my lot, I would have to do that. Like my friends just have to like wheel
Yeah.
the bed out,
Yeah.
because that's just
Yeah,
part.
I wouldn't be shoving
Yeah.
it. They would come
So-
with it.
so
That's
there
just
would-
part and parcel of the privilege of being like in comfort.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
law, like, there'll always be a bed there for you. Like, you always have something, like, wherever the scenario, wherever you may be, unless you really
It's
screwed
good
yourself
if
over
you're
somehow.
homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
really
I can just walk in and be like, bed please.
nice.
No need to explain. Just showing my badge of honour.
It's like, I'm afraid we can't, but it's actually against
But
the
like-
law.
Deserve
Yeah.
to be
Now that
cozy.
you've said that I could
Do you wanna
stay in
go
your
to
porch,
prison?
it's actually illegal. Right, wait, can you just read out what it was? What you've written down again, please? I just want to hear it again.
It was subheading just me, and then the description was always get bed.
Always.
Oh.
And then
I love
I put exempt. But I got nothing.
So we've got no Wi-Fi and always get bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like-
think it's a real tough one.
It's
This one.
really,
It's
really
so
difficult.
good.
Because
The
you
thing
want
is,
one that's
I
just
do
really
always want
pleasant.
bed. I
Yeah,
do
one that's
always
just
want
like a
bed.
nice thought.
One that's a really nice thought, just really pleasant.
Like a good
and that-
dream.
and actually like
I know that makes sense.
and then you've just got one that's just like it makes sense.
It would make life
does.
a lot
Like, not saying
easier.
the other one doesn't, but
You wouldn't have anything to
Yeah.
worry about. You'd be like, oh, it's really late and I'm still at my friend's house. I don't care. I'm not sleeping in the rough. I'm going to take their bed.
Yes.
You know?
It's alright, I'll just go downstairs and call the police.
do you know what?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
do you know what I'll do?
Yeah, because
I'll
my friend
get
might give me
bed.
a bed.
Yeah.
I'll get bed.
You
get
see,
bed.
you see these words?
Yeah.
Always get bed.
Always,
Yeah.
yeah.
Always.
Always.
Alright then.
Ethan, get bed.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have a slight inkling?
I know which one I really want to go for. Like, which one I really want to go for, but also
I still don't know. You say it like that, and I
Like,
literally don't know.
I know which one I'd love to just immediately just go, yeah. Like, I feel like because of the time we're under, I feel like I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay, I might just leave it to you because I'm really split.
Go with your
I'm
gut.
both really good.
Nah, okay. If you had
Go
to,
with
if like
you,
say
love
you like
most.
okay.
It's the same thing.
All right. I didn't say an idea though, so yeah, you know.
Yeah, alright.
All right.
Do you
Okay.
have one?
I
Are we gonna
think
go and go again?
I have one. We're gonna go and go. Okay.
Alright.
So ready? We're gonna go.
We're both winning
in,
my house.
Right. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Ethan.
Amy.
Oh,
No,
split
no
decision.
way.
Right. So let me explain.
Fucking
No. So
Behind it.
let me explain.
You didn't take it. That was the option.
Let
You
me.
didn't
I
take
have
it.
a good explanation for this because the only reason I didn't go for Emmys is that like
You hate me.
I feel no. It's like although I like the fact you go away to like a desert island or something. Like I feel like I could just like I'd love to just switch off Wi-Fi. I think for a week anyway. Just like I feel like I could just do that.
Nice.
Although I'd be still in my house and around the place and maybe not go away somewhere. I feel like you could it could happen anyway. Whereas the bed one, it just wouldn't happen unless you had that law. Like, that is just such a good law. Like, and you just rock up anywhere, or like you're out somewhere and you think, God, I just want to get a bed right now. Like, I just want to get bed, and you just get bed.
You always get bed.
Get bed.
Get bed.
Like,
Yeah.
wherever you are, like, how handy
Not
would that
just
be?
a bed. You get the
And then imagine like you know, you have that, I don't know, like, say you've got like a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever, and then like you want to go, like, you with them, say, and then you have like a almost not like a +1 status, but like, because it's like your bed, you technically like could be like, well, bring someone in his bed, you know, like they can stay with. So it's like, even if you're with someone else, you technically like you sorted them out as well.
That's so true.
Like-
So you could sort me out.
So like,
everyone get out.
Like, yeah, like,
So running
I
between
just
your
think,
beds night. Is
I
that
just
right?
think it's like quite a I don't know. The way I thought of it was like, it's just
It makes sense. It's
It
so
makes-
simple.
It's so
yeah.
convenient. Isn't it?
yeah. Oh, how
It's
I
just
thought how
the
convenient.
the convenience.
It's
factor
very
in it is just-
convenient. Yeah.
So I think that is
Although-
convenient, but
Yeah.
my problem is that everyone would be quite apprehensive about actually inviting me to stay around
That is
if they
so
knew
true.
that I would just get their bed.
But the
Yeah.
beauty
I
of it
always
is you can
get
invite
bed.
yourself and there's nothing you can fucking do about it.
What
It's
if
your
you-
life.
That's not part of the rule.
It's your bed's my bed, bitch.
So you could just
Is
rock
that part
up
of the
and be
rule?
like,
Yeah.
"You're sleeping downstairs
But once,
tonight."
once you're through the threshold of their front door, it's like, game's up, baby.
You're like a vampire.
Yeah, like-
I've got
Once you're about to be in.
I've got a real question for you though.
What?
Okay. You've once said to me that I'm your best friend. Okay. Would
Once.
you?
That's scary.
Would you come to my house? Okay.
Personal.
And you were like, yeah, sorry, it's not this dude. And would you kick me, like me, your best friend? Would you kick me out of my bed?
By law.
Oh no!
Well, what does the law
No,
state?
I would.
What-
Okay, if
what's the law state?
you
He
guys
wouldn't
are
want
exempt,
his best
but-
friend to be
you guys
doing
are exempt, but
anything
only from like an emotional like stance.
That's what I wanted to
not,
hear.
Not from a lawful stance. Like, lawfully, I'm obliged.
Yeah.
But just know that, like, from the goodness of my heart, I'm stopping.
Oh, okay, then I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Well, no,
But
I'm
then-
not
but
gonna
then
lie.
I really like the island one because A, I do actually like being in nature, and B, being one with the coconut.
Yeah.
And
That's a
then-
big factor in it.
Also, you know, I did about a month or something where I deleted Instagram, I deleted
Very refreshing,
Snapchat.
isn't it?
I think actually I don't think I kept Snapchat, not because I use it, because people sometimes talk to me or whatever, or they snap me, and that's different to like other social media. You don't check
I
it,
think-
someone sends you a message.
Yeah, I
Like,
feel like-
it's
I
gonna
feel
dark them.
I
for
feel
a
like
second.
for
your
our
profile.
age, actually, it definitely
Yeah,
is.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause you're not
I
checking
also
their
deleted,
profile
I
or
deleted
anything like that.
Facebook as well. I deleted Facebook and Instagram, which were my biggest at the time, and it was so refreshing. And I didn't go on my phone as much, and I did a lot more just other things.
When you
and-
break the habit, when you get them back, I mean, I've done that before,
Yeah.
but I've deleted Instagram, and now I don't really go on it that much now.
Mm.
Because I
You
kind
get
of
it back
broke
and
that
you still don't
habit.
use it, yeah.
Yeah, and so having that once a year, like complete detox.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to push
I'm
my
like
idea,
addicted to
but I would
liking
like it.
things. You know what I mean? I'm a double tap addict.
Yeah,
I
you are.
just always I go through. It doesn't even need
Very
to be a good
supportive.
post. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm like, my friend posted that. It's great. My friend posted that. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what they posted. I'll just be like, I like that. I like that. I like that, and I just scroll
Yeah.
through until I've caught up with the last like that I've got. And I'm like,
Mm.
all right, now I can put it down. It's like,
Sounds
why?
like you should go on a
I-
desert island for a
Exactly,
week. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
No,
and
I-
that's why I deleted it actually. But now I'll go back and
Yeah.
I'm more relaxed.
I'm
but
not going
it
to go
was
back on
good
what I
to have
said,
that
but
detox, you know?
like on my decision of going with Ethan's idea. But yeah, seriously, like it's a good
It'd be
idea.
nice, wouldn't it?
It would be very nice, and like that's what I'm saying. Like I would actually happily probably just go off it as you did. Like and like I just think like for me like I'd love to do the desert island thing, but yeah, I don't know. It's a very hit and miss. I just
more
think
realistic,
I
this
think
one.
I just found Ethan's so like surprisingly simple and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all surprisingly just like
It was, yeah.
yeah, it was. It just. I think it threw it. I think that's why I've chosen it really. But actually, like
Mm.
Ibby's is a really good idea. So I think
Okay.
you both
I
actually
think
done well.
we
on
should
that.
resolve this in the only way that we can possibly resolve this, really.
This sounds really
And
scary.
how is that?
You're gonna piss up.
We've got to find out what we're going to rate your hats at.
Yeah, I think
Well,
we're gonna be.
That's going to be the winner. You're
I
both
think,
at,
yeah.
you're both
Because
at 1.5 points.
we're both at a split
So
decision.
essentially, you've
Me and
drawn the
Ronan
game.
voted
So
for the
there's gotta
same
be a
on
winner.
one, voted for the same on the other.
Oh
and
yeah.
split on the other. So
We're exactly half.
so I think now
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
we are going to go
And then
down
we
to
find the
hats. It's down to hatlock.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
kinda-
Sudden hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Right. So yeah.
Good
This,
man.
so
So
no hiding, please. We have no unless you're cold. So
She's all hat.
yeah, we're gonna go. So I don't know if you guys probably know how it works. So we have a few categories, and we mark them. The first, we mark them. Sound like a teacher. We score them. The first 2 out of 10, and then the last 2 out of 5. Ronan, what are those categories?
So
Categories.
Categories.
all right.
Sorry.
Bringing in the
Sorry,
puns.
this is my show, actually.
So, do you want to do it? What are the categories?
Right,
Amy?
hasn't saying things. Imogen McKay. Sorry, Karen.
Anyway, back to me.
Can't believe you came up with categories, Ronan.
Thank you. I spent all night on that one.
Are you going to decide Island Bridge?
First category. I was queen of the day, actually.
Yeah, really.
I was right in the palace. Right up in there. Right in the palace. Anyway, so the first category is comfort. Gasp. Boom, boom. Surprise. So, out of 10, I'm gonna go back to Ethan this time because Amy was first for all of them, basically. So now we're gonna go to Ethan to start.
Yeah.
How would you rate your hat out of 10 on comfort?
Because it looks comfy.
2.
Ooh.
2 out of 10 for comfort.
I hate wearing hats.
Out of 10.
But is there a category for honesty? That's what I want to know.
We just expect you.
We just expect you to be honest.
Yeah, I'm
Is
not
it
gonna lie.
really?
I just don't.
Even
enjoy-
compared
I
If
to
you
don't-
don't,
I-
I mean, if you
hats?
don't think it's honest, if you don't think it's comfy, then that's your
I
honest
don't like
opinion.
it, no.
2 out of 10. Now what?
2 out of 10.
So you just
Are you
is
currently
it?
I would much
uncomfortable?
Is it
rather be
itchy?
wearing a.
Rough.
It's. I just prefer to have my hair moving in the wind.
Okay, not a hat
Yeah,
fan.
I don't like having my hair.
Okay,
pressed
we
to
got
my
the wrong
scalp.
guy for the show. Okay.
Well,
No,
I
but
commend you for still
I'm
wearing
wearing
it.
a hat. Yeah, I'm wearing a hat.
Chose the
for
wrong
the
guy.
purpose.
Yeah, of course.
But even compared to other hats, you know?
No, yeah. If this is on the hat scale of like you've worn the worst hat ever being worn.
Does a hood count?
No,
Then no.
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 I just don't like hats.
No, definitely
enough.
not. No matter. I hope people get that.
Yeah, I think so too. So-
They'll be wondering.
Yeah.
They'll be like,
I wonder.
Yeah.
Double barrel.
Ah, nice.
Alright.
Thank you.
So is that, are you sticking with 2 then? Alright.
Being firm in my
Could say
life.
if you made a third one, you'd be a tri-wizard. Oh,
Well, does that mean that I get 2 out of 10?
Oh.
Love it.
Yeah, but there's more rounds to come.
Oh, right,
Don't you worry about it.
So
Doesn't
I
matter.
rate myself.
Yeah, you rate your own. Yeah.
You're giving yourself 10.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely won that.
Right.
Him.
Amy, what's yours? Out of
You know what? If I'm being brutally honest, if it's good enough for a kettle, it's good enough for my head. So I'm gonna give it for my own hat. I'm gonna give it. Feel it. I'm gonna give it a 7. If I'm being
Okay.
give it a feel, guys. I'm being so.
Do you know what?
I'm so warm.
Ooh.
Go
Look
on,
at me right
dig it
now.
in.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're in a cold.
soft.
You would just go like.
Very soft.
This actually feels like really nice, guys. I feel like I don't get a lot of
Come here,
affection,
come
so
here.
just give me a little. There we go. Thank you.
That's like when you're like stroking a
you
dog.
first.
Yeah,
to the
guys,
point.
I just feel like I feel so
It's
safe.
nice.
Yeah, it's
Are you-
actually really warm. It's got space for my ears, number one, but
It looks breathable.
It looks like
I'm
it's
not-
got perfect.
It actually looks
like,
breathable
It
in a
covers
way.
your ears,
really
but
is,
whilst
but
giving you ponytail.
that's why it's
holes.
great to have something knitted because it actually does like retain a lot of heat. But I'm knocking off
Knitwear pros. there you
knitwear
go.
pros, everybody. I'm knocking off 1 point because it is the tiniest bit scratchy, the only tiniest, and I'm knocking 2 points off because it's a little too hot. If you know what I mean.
Okay. Okay. So it's not
I'm a little
breathable.
bit
Okay.
too
It's not
There's a
breathable.
reason they call it a tea cozy.
Yeah.
So,
So keep that
so-
tea hot.
so you've knocked it down from 10, or you've knocked it from 7.
Knocked it from 10 to a 7.
Nice. Okay.
Fair enough.
A respectable
And I'm
7.
It
I'm
did
not
look
just
like
saying
he was
this
going to
'cause I
get a
wanna
high
win.
score on comfort. I don't know how you got. I was
Yeah.
expecting a high
You
one.
know what?
I
I'm
was
It looks
expecting,
very
like,
stretchy.
yeah, but
you know what I mean? And
I
light.
do you know what surprised me?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to
That's my head.
be. I thought it was going to be more breathable, but it actually, looking at it now, you've
I
taken
looked
it
at it
off.
on the inside out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's not breathable, is it?
It doesn't
Yeah.
feel. I mean, my head feels
It's
really.
a thick bee.
My head doesn't feel that hot, so I just want like more attention.
No.
I feel like a
Well,
cat.
actually,
I'm like,
no,
please
it's
touch my
quite-
head.
I said
It
I
was
will
just- it's
just
a red
pat
scalp,
you
though.
for the
It's
rest
a
of
red
the
scalp,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just feeling quite
Yeah.
like warm in my face, but
Red scalp. Oh, is it bleeding? No,
is it
just.
bleeding?
No,
Just
okay.
like-
No, yeah.
Chicken's
Okay.
been pecking at my head.
She stretched it too much.
Yeah.
Well, we
Okay.
agreed.
So
Turkey.
we're going for a 7 for Imy, and we've got Ethan.
Not
to-
just because I want to win. I'm being
Okay,
honest.
no, of course, yeah, honest. Oh no, very honest from
Promise
Ethan
you
as
I'm
well,
being
very
honest.
honest. Yeah, we don't usually get that honest on this show. People can be a bit.
I'm
they
sure
can,
this
they
next
can play
round
in
will
their
catch up
favour.
a bit.
Really?
Yeah,
They're
they
misleading
can play in their favour,
sometimes.
yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna go with Imy again, and this one is gonna be on
Style.
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 Out of 10.
Stylistic.
Yeah, style. So, yeah, what would you say out of 10? Because I'm
I
laughing.
want to hear what you. I just
I want
want
to
to
know.
hear what
Yeah, I
you
want to hear
think
what you're going to say.
out of that.
Because
This is alright. Bear in mind, because you guys can't see how big this turkey is. It's a 3D turkey. It's like
it's not a
it's
picture.
like 3.5 inches.
it's like having a
tall on
huge
it.
growth,
And it's
on
not
your
like
head.
on the
It's
front,
yeah.
like centre. It's just kind of. It's like on the side. It's kind of like
It
it's
wobbles.
like just coolly
wobbles.
sat on
It
the
gobbles.
top.
It give it a
It gobbles up top.
It
It's
gobbles.
just kind of stitched
Gobbles on the topple.
somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like
Yeah,
this.
they're like,
It's like a little
where
It's not a
about
descript
three
location.
there,
It's
yeah,
just-
you're there.
It's not central,
That's
it's-
alright.
It's not central as well. Look at it. It's the side. It's like not.
It's just not really anywhere. It's like so lost.
I
It's just-
know. We'll get a
What's
pic.
that?
We can get a picture of it. Put it on the
Yeah.
the old page.
The old
It's
page.
all
Yeah,
already
page.
happened.
Not of me in it.
Yeah,
Just
it's
of
already
you
happened.
guys. Okay, I'll get straight to it. I mean, gotta be honest, aren't I? I'm wearing a bloody tea cozy. I'm being generous if I give it a 1.
Yeah.
Let's go. I gotta think. Sometimes I do attend the old like funk night. I feel like it could be acceptable there. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 10.
Okay. Do you know what? I think
Would
you
you
might
agree?
be even. I think that could even be generous, but I think 2 out of 10 is
To be honest,
fair.
I could.
Fair,
but
but
there's probably
fair.
worse looking.
yeah,
hats
fair,
out there,
yeah,
probably.
fair.
Have you ever had someone on the show
Fair.
that's had a hat like this?
I think fair
Not
actually.
yet.
Yeah,
And
not yeah. It's fair.
So
Until
Probably
next
never
guest,
again.
do you
better
know
up your
what?
game.
Jordan, no, Ronan's
Okay.
right. There will definitely be worse. So yeah, you're right.
I think you put it off, you know.
Yeah.
Like, if I was wearing a hat,
It's because
it'd
it
probably
looks
be
like
a
my
0.
hair. I
Yeah,
feel
there
like
you go. It looks
Yeah,
like it's made
yeah.
if
for
you
you.
does.
looked,
It does.
it
It
could
works.
well be.
It works. So.
If you saw me in the street like really quickly, like walking along, you'd just be like, oh, she's got a bit of a weird fringe.
I definitely would double take.
Yeah.
I was
Got
like,
like
oh,
like
wait
a bubble.
a minute.
Yeah, I got a
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
Did I just hear her gobble? Come out of
Yeah.
that hat.
I was like, come on.
That is just you saying it, like just to creep people out.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, and it's like,
Right.
anyway,
So on to Ethan.
Me.
Same for you. So
Out
style.
of 10 for style.
what
Style.
are you saying?
No, style. I want to say what I think after actually, because I'm interested to see what you're saying for this, because
I think
I think your awareness going all right. If I'm honest, it don't look too bad.
maybe. Oh. See, I don't know. I don't know if to like, look through like people or what they would think. This looks like...
No. You do you, babe. Honest opinions here.
I think it looks like about a 6 on me.
6. Do you know what? I think that's fair. I think
I'd
I'd
say about a 6.
I could say you could even push it to a 7 if you
Do you
really
see
wanted
what I
to.
mean when I say hats don't really suit
Yeah,
me?
like
No,
no.
I
I
think
think
it
actually,
does.
this
Yeah.
one does. Yeah, like
Everyone hold hands right now. I never thought they suited
No,
me.
I think-
It's warm.
no, I think it does.
They do.
Always
No, I
okay.
think I think it genuinely does look like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's a pretty bog standard hat, and it
Yeah.
works like works with
Yeah,
like
but it's a
wear
nice
and
green.
everything.
You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah,
nice green.
it's
just
a
an olive
nice
green.
green.
It's a nice
Gold.
mossy emerald.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's not like
Mossy
it's not like a
emerald.
sort of khaki colour where it can be a little bit off, but like it's
Yeah.
like a nice
It's a
emerald.
solid green.
Yeah.
It's a solid beanie. It's a solid hat.
Solid green, solid 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going for 6, yeah?
I'll
Solid
say
6, yeah.
solid
Okay,
6.
cool, solid 6. So
Alright.
we've got 2 and 6 there, which means
What was that?
I think we're nearly tied actually going into the next
Yeah,
bit. I think
One
Emmy's
apiece. No, one
It's
apart.
one
One
apart.
apart. One
Emmy's
apiece.
one ahead
Yeah,
here.
Oh yeah.
Emmy's one ahead here, which means we're actually going to go back to Ethan for this next one. Emmy is in front only by 1, so it's tight this one. 9, and then Ethan is on 8. So the next category is going to be on, is it formal and informal?
Yes,
I
it is
believe.
both.
It is both.
It is
So,
either you pick if your hat is more of a formal hat or more of an informal hat.
and then you rate
I
that.
suspect which one you'll be choosing.
For me with a
And you
kettle.
rate
So-
that. Rate that out of 5.
Yeah, so you
From
rate
the
out,
kennel's
out
point
of
of
5.
view.
So obviously, if you were to choose like a formal hat here, Emmy, you'd be rating it at least a 0.
But it's very informal, so let's just
Wow.
not go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so already
If
we
I
know
was
what
a
you're gonna go for.
kettle, I think this would be pretty formal.
So I'm going to twist the rules.
Sorry.
This is a hat worn by a human in a
Yeah.
Look at yourself.
That's what it
Look what
is,
you've
where it is,
become.
and why
Yeah.
it is,
You're
alright?
22
Not
years
as an
old.
inanimate object in a kitchen.
You're 22 years old and you're wearing a blazer.
Know your audience. Know your demographic.
What's my life? Oh.
So out of 5, how informal are you going?
I'm I'm informal, so I have to rate out of 5 if I was.
Yeah, but please say why.
Surely this is the most informal hat you can get. Surely formal means.
I mean, arguably not even a hat.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
look, is it formal? Is it cash? Is it pretty casual? Pretty casual hat.
So how
I
would you
think
rate it out of 5?
I think this is the most informal sort of. I mean, I feel like we should really be talking to.
But it's
that
more
matters
like,
here.
it's how
Turkey.
good is it at being informal?
It's the top. Surely, right? You're looking at me like I'm an absolute idiot wearing a tea
Shirley?
You're not
Shirley?
an idiot. Stop calling me Shirley.
I feel like since we started this, everyone's just been staring at me, just like, babe. Just like,
Just don't know where to
what are
put
you
it, you know what I
doing?
mean?
Like,
Mine's
yeah.
more been dick.
Nee. I'm getting really tapped on this show, but it's fair play. Look
You
at
did
what I'm wearing.
bring
Honestly.
a tea cozy.
I'm wearing it on my head.
Yeah.
And I put my little
What did
pigtails
you
for as well.
expect?
I tried to look like cute. I tried to style it. No, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, in my logic, I feel like it's like a 3. I feel like it's pretty damn informal. No,
Yeah.
would you agree?
I would agree that it's informal, but also I probably wouldn't even wear it on an informal occasion. So
I mean,
because of that, I think a 3 is probably.
That's
That's
where we're
pretty
really going
informal.
with this.
I think it's
If
probably
you're thinking like
accurate.
a fancy dress setting.
Oh,
that,
but
that's kind of like a.
But we will get onto that because there's actually a category for fancy dress. So
yeah, hold your horses.
yeah. So hold on to your hats, guys, because that will come.
Well, I have to because it's
Yeah.
stuck to my head. Pull
Well,
my pigtails out if I don't.
okay, so we're going for
Wait,
3.
so
I
you
think
go
that's.
for 3?
Yeah, I think that's good. 3's alright for that.
3.
Ethan,
I shall accept. That's
Ethan,
4.
3.
what do you think yours is? Is yours pretty cash, or is it pretty, pretty formal? Pretty formal.
I mean, I'd probably say like a 4 because I say it's quite informal, but like this would be more socially
Yeah.
acceptable. If I had to wear one of these 2 hats to like my dad's wedding, I'd rather choose the green beanie over the knitted turkey.
Yeah.
So-
Although this is a
Over the
I did wear a
knit
yellow
turkey.
dress. It would suit it. Because I'm wearing a yellow hat.
Trying to get away with it.
Yeah.
It's not that weird, guys. It's not that weird. It's pretty weird.
I think 4 is. I think again 4 is pretty accurate for that. Like we had a beanie. We've had beanies before, and
Yeah.
beanies just they're
It's
pretty
very
cash.
good at being cash.
Yeah, it's pretty good being a
It
cash
is
hat.
informal.
I've
Yes,
seen many
yeah.
a person, especially in this weather, like in the cold weather, wear that a beanie as a cash hat, and it looks pretty cash. So, and it's like a pretty just
And the
bog
green
standard
as well
cash hat.
helps it
The
just be
green,
casual.
it's a nice green
Blend
as
in with
well.
nature.
Yeah, 100%. Going
You're in
for
a
it.
forest.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in a forest.
So we are now, we're now tied going into the last round, but actually, this is probably a round that favours one hat in particular. So, and this
Yeah.
next round is fancy dress. So, Ethan, for fancy dress, like, what do you what do you think you could get on fancy dress out of 5?
I mean, like I could dress as like a swamp monster, or a pea,
3.
or a pimento stuffed
Peas in a
olive.
pod.
Yeah,
That was a precise olive.
So, onto what context is this framed? I think I've got to be honest with myself, and I've been keeping it real since
Yeah.
the beginning of this podcast. I'm like,
Since the beginning you were born.
yeah, I
Keep it
know.
real.
Some people don't want to play by those rules, and that's fine. But I think I'm just gonna go with a solid 5 because I feel like
Out of 5.
out of 10.
It's out of 5.
No, it's out of 5. It's out of 5, this one. This one's only out of 5, yeah. So, halve it, 2.5? 3. Okay, ooh, okay.
So I feel like it can still like fit towards, certain things.
Yeah. Okay.
Arguably can fit into more themed outfits than a luminous yellow knitted turkey tea cozy.
Do you know what, now
that
that-
can only fit the hairstyle of bunches.
Well,
Now,
now
it fits
It's fine.
perfectly on my head, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
this is
No,
personal.
I've got
This
a
is
kettle
personal.
head.
Stop
Yeah.
trying to change every negative into a positive. Every like negative thing you're literally like, yeah, but like it's like the crochet's really delicate.
Not the
Trying to make
bright
the
side.
best out of a bad
Yeah.
situation, guys.
Silver lining.
Yeah.
Silver lining. The turkey speaks to me.
Yeah.
It's a companion.
It's got a name. It's like, try and rip this off
Because
me.
since wearing it, I have no friends.
He's called Cornelius, and he does me
Yeah.
well. He does me through.
So right, okay, so we've got 3, and then Imi, you've now got to get, I guess, more than a 3 here. But you've got to be obviously be honest. Like, be honest with this.
Have
really.
I not been honest?
No,
Sorry,
you have.
don't
No,
be
you have.
shouty.
But this is. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
My podcast.
Yeah.
What would you rate yours out of 5? Because like I actually said before, obviously Ethan rated his, and before Ethan made quite a valid point. I think oh yeah, I think I know who's going to win this in Fats Dress, but I actually not sure
you
now.
know what? Yeah.
Because thinking about it, what could you wear it with?
Well, Connor,
So
I'll tell
I'm
you.
so glad you asked.
yeah,
Finally, some real questions on this podcast. No, so I feel like we can all agree. I take fancy dress very seriously. All right,
Yeah.
let's.
I
for those
did
of
see
you who don't
go
know
to
me,
a
that
party
is quite true.
where I turned up with an amazing costume, right? And I'm going to tell you this because it was great,
Yeah.
but it was so outdone by who I was standing next to. It was a black cape, and it was just a...
And that's it.
and that was it. And then I wore a white shirt with a piece of paper on the front that just had na 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 na, and that was it.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone read it, and they took a second, and they went, "Hey, that I thought was a good costume."
That's a good one.
Because it just wasn't a good Batman, but it was a good Batman.
B-Tech
But
Batman.
there was no point in me even dressing up because I walked in with the house from Up. There was literally
I couldn't get through the doors,
3D
remember?
You had to side
I couldn't get
walk
through
in.
the door.
It was built out of cardboard. I don't know where you got it, and then you had balloons all over it. Didn't
And
you
in
have
my
some in your
hair.
hair?
I
Yeah,
had
in your
balloons in my
hair as
hair.
well. Oh, it was out
I
unbelievable.
feel like you'd be the
Yeah.
girl out of
You
Mean
were like-
Girls.
There was like a wave
Or
of
the bitch.
people who like
The
ran
one
to
that
you
goes
and were like,
to-
"Photo time, photo
Yeah.
time. Where were you?"
I took like 3 steps in the party and I was like, "Can I take a picture of you?" I was like, "Bloody hell."
You're like, "That's what I'm here."
Yeah, so I was like, "Can I just get a drink, please?"
Where your
I was
arms
like, "Guys,
had
I
to
need to
fully
wait."
be out,
Like
like
Rihanna just walked
Yeah.
in there and fucking...
I also
Yeah.
revised some little house jokes as well about like central heating and stuff, but I can't remember it now.
Sometimes you Google
I thought you were about to just
jokes
reel
to
them
make
off.
when you're dressed
Yeah,
up as
it's
a house.
fine.
It's
Number
fine.
1, no, yeah. So yeah, I put I feel like I take costumes very, very seriously. I like to put effort in,
Mhm.
and can I just say that cost me like £1. That costume, and I took a lot anyway. I don't want to talk about how
Yeah.
great I am at costumes, but I'm pretty
For
great.
another day.
For another
For
day,
even longer.
when I'm
Another day.
queen, I'll talk
So,
about it. I'll do
out
an
of
interview,
5.
Get on the
alright?
air, and that's
Out of
what
5,
you're here.
because we're itching.
Sorry, yeah. It's not 4. Because
Go on,
I
give
could
me
do a
good
lot with this.
explanation.
Think about Chicken Run. Like, you
I
know,
did
Babs
think
is
this
always
earlier,
like knitting that
yeah.
little tea cozy and they chuck it on a kettle, which makes it look like a chicken, and then they get away with that teapot being
Okay.
chicken.
Okay, just for the inventiveness of that, I'm
Yeah.
going to accept that.
You
I
could
could do a lot with it.
You could,
It's
you
just
could.
got
Rip off
a
the
turn
chicken, it's just
for
a
your
yellow
chin
hat.
on
I
it,
think
like, you know
I
what
think
mean?
you got away with it more on the fact that just like it is the pigtails. The pigtails coming out works so well in your favour. You could do loads of things, or you could even just go as a teapot. You could be like, I'm a little teapot. Sure,
Yeah.
that's fine.
That's the accent again.
Right, yeah.
There he is.
Cropping back up.
And then you have your
English
your,
Connor.
and then you get your 2 like pigtails. Here
Oh,
is
whip
my
them
milk,
out.
here is my
Yeah.
Yeah. Like- I think it works. All right,
Thank you.
I think that works.
I mean, yeah.
We're done now. No, we're not really. We're not quite. But I think so. Out of the scores, I think that
Scores
means
on the doors.
That
Emmy.
leaves Ethan with 15, I believe.
yeah, and Imogen 16 points.
That close.
So yeah, so that was very close.
Good
Wait,
game.
Like-
so Emmy wins? The
Emmy
whole
wins. Emmy wins the entire.
I could
The
now be
entire
queen for a day.
podcast.
Emmy now
For
owns
example.
Wearing
For a
Hats
day.
podcast.
Stolen it
Thank you.
with a hat comment that we are just not going to argue with. And to be fair, it is more fancy for the fancy dress.
Thank
so,
you.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
right, but you know what that means?
Pleasure.
So we finally have a winner of the game, which means you get the bonus round. This one,
Tell me
alright,
more.
we're going to be timing you. You got 30 seconds to rant, okay, about something that you would make illegal if you had the opportunity to make that illegal. All right.
Yeah, it could be
So-
absolutely anything. Don't
So
limit
We'll
yourself.
count you in. Are you ready?
I came prepared.
You ready?
It's on my
Yeah.
notes.
Do you want to count it down, Con?
Yeah, go on. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, go.
I hate elderly people and how they get perks. Okay, they get right. Let me just listen. Right, here we go. It is a privilege to make it that long and be like over 70. It's a privilege. A lot of people don't make it that long. A lot of people pass away
15
from
seconds.
disease and accidents. They shouldn't be rewarded with things. They should be grateful. No more special seats on buses. No more getting up when they need to sit down. No more cheap pensioners' prices. It's not our fault that they're poor.
5 seconds.
They've had a whole life to earn a lot more money to pay for things, and I don't want to pay
we're
for
up.
it.
So what?
That's it.
So
okay.
what was illegal in that?
Like, you know, you get things on the train being like, oh, if someone's pregnant, if someone's broken,
Make
or if
elderly
someone's old,
priority.
so
get
they
up.
just get no
I don't
priority.
care if they're old. It's their
Alright.
bloody problem, not
Right, well,
mine.
They just get no priority. Fair enough.
Do you know what?
You were like,
Done with
That
it.
was so
You're like,
out of
"I'm
the
getting
out of the
up."
field. Yeah.
I feel like that's such a mean thing to do.
I'm gonna just
I
hug.
don't give
hug
a
the
damn.
What
Old
a
people
sour
have an ego,
end to
an
this
ego.
podcast.
Old people got an ego is like, well done, you made it that long. A lot of people don't make it that
Yeah.
long. Don't be a bitch about it, alright? I'm done. Tico's is off.
Okay, well,
I'm cold and put it back
I
on.
think I'm not.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Redon
Sorry,
that
we've
hat,
not
woman.
finished the
I
game.
think I think
Reinstate the turkey.
Fair enough.
I don't know what to say.
Reinstate Cornelius.
I'm
I feel
stunned.
like-
I'm
stunned.
appalled,
I am
actually.
actually
I'm appalled.
I'm appalled. I was gonna say.
I'm not really
hats
going to
off.
argue, though. To
No,
be
I'm
honest.
not gonna argue with it. It's
Fair enough.
you won, so
Fair enough.
fair enough. Like I was gonna say
Flaunt
hats off
him.
to you, but I think
Flaunt
I'll just say
Tico's here.
Tip. I'll just tip
you know,
it.
it's
Tip
been
it
a
out, yeah.
it's been
Keep it going.
it's been a fun one, and who knows? Maybe you'll become the queen one day.
One more
Ross.
thing, actually, before we leave. As you're on our podcast, I'd like to invite you both to tell us and everyone about the things that you guys have just started. I believe, Imi, you just started a YouTube channel, and Ethan, you just started up an art channel
I
as
was
well.
quit Debenhams.
So yeah, did you want to
Yeah.
talk about, just like mention that and say what it is and where to find it? You know.
Sure.
So, I do drawing and portraiture art, and I have a Instagram account called Nostromo Art, and I'm considering doing. Well, I'm going to start up a YouTube channel called Nostromo, just because I like Alien, and that's the name of the ship in Alien. So yeah, check me out there.
That's really good.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Are you
Very
gonna
good.
do some
Very good
alien?
art.
Oh yeah, you're doing. I saw you.
I did,
halfway
yeah, I was
through-
doing Ripley.
Yeah,
from
Ripley, yeah,
Alien.
and that was Can't wait
So,
to see the
yeah.
full thing as well. Yeah, you love it. don't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
You're really good at art
Sounds
as well.
awesome. Yeah, and I've seen some of your artworks. It is.
You don't design most of your tattoos,
Yeah.
don't you? So.
Definitely be sure to check that out. And Imi,
Yeah.
what have you got going on?
Just quickly, who's ready to party is my podcast. Talking about. Don't worry. No, yeah. Who's ready to party? My YouTube channel is I'm Imi, and it's a bit of an eclectic mix, but so far, it's just basically how to do. It's about like parties, birthday parties specifically, but it doesn't have to be. And how to just do like really cool like hacks and stuff, like costume decoration. My newest one that's coming out very soon. I'm almost finished editing. It's about creating a murder mystery party because I made one for my birthday, like from scratch, complete scratch. So
It was real good.
thank you.
Real good.
You were the murderer.
Good.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
Spoilers.
Spoiler.
I'm
a
a
killer.
No, that's not what I talk about. In it. But yeah, so
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah,
If
no.
you want to hit me up,
And that
Do
will
it.
probably be out by the time.
Yeah, by the time this is
yeah.
out, to be
So
fair, yeah.
I'm Imi
yeah.
on YouTube, and it's
Yeah.
Who's Ready to Party.
So
Yeah.
I'm Mimi and Nostromo Art on currently Instagram. Yeah.
Currently on
Yes.
Instagram,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
We'll be
whoop.
on YouTube. Make sure you check them
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
We will be
Of
putting
course.
the links for all of those into somewhat of a description of wherever this will be posted on different platforms that will be posted on.
Indeed.
So you can go and find that out very easily. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on
Thank you
today.
so much for having us.
Tip of
Thank
the
you
hat
for,
to
yeah,
you.
tip of the hat to both of you. Yeah, even to Imi, even to for
And
a
to
turkey
Cornelius.
hat, and to
Cornelius.
Excuse me, please address him.
And
Special
to
address
Cornelius,
to
special
Cornelius,
address to
yeah.
Cornelius, yeah, the turkey thing on the teapot, cozy. And Ronan, as always, pleasure.
Yeah.
Hats off to
Hats
you.
off to you, Con.
Hats off to you.
Connor.
And I will see you guys all next time. Adios, amigos.
Bonsoir.
Bye.